Douluo, at the beginning, I signed with the martial spirit of the god of death. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176 Ghost Demon. The deeper area of the Star Forest. This is already considered a relatively dangerous place in the Star Dao Forest. Although the number of soul beasts here is small, the strength of each soul beast cannot be underestimated. They all start with 3-year-old soul beasts. For ordinary soul masters, words are like a forbidden place of death. However, at this time, a group of people were resting under a big tree in this area, completely ignoring that they and others were in danger. Chen Luo and Xiao Wu were sitting on the roots of a tree eating barbecue. Around them, there were 6 or 7 people standing, sitting, and leaning against a big tree. Guangzhongyang was standing on the branch of a big tree and looking into the distance. He didn't know whether he was inspecting the situation in the distance or thinking about other things. Duan Xiao was arranging her clothes under the tree. She didn't know when she had obsessive-compulsive disorder and she had to tidy up her clothes. While Liang Hao had just made a stone table and a bunch of stone chairs. He smiled and said to Chen Luo and Xiao Wu, "Boss, Xiao Wu, the table is ready. You can come here to eat. It's more convenient." Chen Luo and Xiao Wu went to sit down at the stone table, took some more food and put it on the stone table, greeting everyone, "You're welcome, eat whatever you want." When Xiao Wu and I left Wuhan City, we purchased some food. Lots of food, but everyone shook their heads and had no appetite. As undead, their need for food is almost zero. Unless there is something they really want to eat, they usually will not choose to eat. Yu Yao was leaning against a big tree, playing with a pair of crystal stones. The originally full-angled crystal stones were almost rounded by Yu Yao, and they felt like walnuts. Li Feng and Bian Lu silently guarded Chen Luo and Xiao Wu. When Chen Luo and Xiao Wu went to the stone table, they immediately followed. Li Feng also wore a skull ring on his finger, and a childish voice came from the skull ring. It was Xiaonan. It's so lively. As the breeze blew by, a tall figure quietly appeared beside Chen Luo. It was Gong Zhongfei who had returned from investigating the surrounding situation. 3,000 meters away, there is a giant underworld tiger that is 5,000 years old. Absorbing its spirit ring should increase the offensiveness of your martial spirit. 5,000 meters away, there is a 4-year-old dark earth dragon. If you choose it, you might be able to obtain a controlled type soul skill. 6,000 meters away, there is a 6,000-year-old ghost demon. It is a better choice. If you choose it as a soul ring, you may be able to master energy discharging attack soul skills, but its soul ring age is too high. But I'm sure you can absorb it, too, as expected of a pinnacle Douluo. His efficiency in doing things is very high. Before taking a break, Chen Luo mentioned that he wanted to obtain the 5th soul ring. Guangzhongfei immediately took action to find it for Chen Luo. The Star Dao Forest covers an extremely large area. To describe it as vast is not an exaggeration. Even the deeper areas have a very large area. As long as there are absolutely strong people around, it is relatively easy to find a suitable soul beast. Let the Peak Douluo find a suitable soul beast for him, and take the initiative himself. It is estimated that only Chen Luo can do it. Thank you, Senior. Just choose the 5-year-old ghost demon. Let's set off now. Chen Luo said with a smile. The spirit beasts listed by Gong Zhongfei are all more suitable for Chen Luo, but it is obvious that the ghost demon is the best choice, but it requires taking some risks. A 5-year-old soul beast is already in a rather terrifying state. The average soul master may not be able to obtain the 7th or 8th soul ring, but the soul ring Chen Luo wants to obtain is only the 5th soul ring. But Chen Luo is an alien after all, and even Gong Zhongfei is full of confidence in Chen Luo. Chen Luo's first soul ring is 1,000 years, his second soul ring is nearly 3,000 years, his third soul ring is 10,000 years, his fourth soul ring is 2 years, and his 5th soul ring is 5 years. Not excessive. Of course it is easy to just say it, but it is more difficult to actually take action. Soul beasts are the same as soul masters. As their strength increases, they are 2 completely different entities each time they advance to a level. The improvement of a 5-year-old soul beast is not at the same level as that of a 2-year-old soul beast. Even so, Chen Luo is still full of confidence in himself. As his strength increases, His body becomes stronger and stronger, especially after level. Every time the soul power level increases, the strength of his body will change dramatically. Not to mention the leap between levels. Guangxuangfei said, "You go on eating, I will go over and catch it. Do you want me to finish it first?" Chen Luo was about to pack his things and go hunting for ghosts and demons, but he unexpectedly heard Gongzhongyang's extremely tyrannical words. "Catch a 5-year-old soul beast at once?" Chen Luo was stunned and said, "No need, I want to rely on my own strength to complete the kill. With you all the time around, it is difficult for me to get better opportunities for actual combat. There is an opportunity in front of me, and I don't want to miss it." Guangxuangfei nodded slightly. "Okay." Before the voice fell, Guangxuangfei disappeared. Guangxuangyang jumped down from the big tree and came to Chen Luo. He couldn't help but sigh. "My brother is still strong. He is already a level 97 peak Douluo. I feel like all this is like a dream. It's so unreal. You, a dead person, have come back to life. What else is unreal?" Duan Xiao said coldly, and she finally put her clothes in order. At this time, Xiao stopped panning the crystal, put it away, and walked over. "If you hadn't taken the wrong path back then, maybe you would be a peak Douluo now." Having been together for so long, Guangzhongyang and Xiao knew each other's affairs quite well. There is no doubt about Guangzhongyang's talent, but he just took the wrong path. Duan Xiao also agreed with Guangzhongyang's talent in his heart, but he disagreed with his mouth and sneered. If he hadn't followed the path of an evil soul master, maybe he would be even worse now. But Guangzhongyang didn't care. It's okay to think about the past. The main thing is to look at the future. I'm really grateful to the boss for giving me a chance to be reborn. I will seize it. One day I will too. Reaching the level of my brother, come on. Chen Luo encouraged with a smile. While Liang Hao asked, "Boss, do you want me to make some barrier stone tablets and let Senior Black Curse come out to carve the barrier circle to prevent ghosts and evil spirits from escaping?" Guangzhongyang immediately smiled angrily and said, "Brother, have you made a fool of yourself recently by making rocks? With my brother here, can that little soul beast escape?" While Liang Hao showed a silly smile, "That's right, I actually forgot about this." Chen Luo looked at his undead souls, a smile appeared on his face, and then his eyes fell on Xiao Wu. "Do you think it's too cruel?" Chen Luo asked. Xiao Wu shook her head. "The law of the jungle is the law of survival in this world, and it cannot be avoided. The relationship between soul beasts is not as good as you think. At most, there is only some resonance. The reputation of ghost demons in the soul beast world is very bad. They often eat the cubs of powerful soul beasts and like to attack injured powerful soul beasts. If they were missing, there might be more powerful soul beasts in the Star Dao forest." Soul beast. When Chen Luo heard this, he couldn't help but smile. "According to what you said, wouldn't I be killing the beasts?" "That's right." Xiao Wu nodded. Chapter 177 Combat. Guangxuangfei was very fast, and soon the 5-year-old ghost demon came back wrapped in blood mist. Casually throwing the ghost demon into the open space, Guangxuangfei waved his hand and countless bloody auras surged out, directly blocking a large area. Wrapped in blood mist, the ghost demon was not harmed at all. With Guangxuangfei's strength, it was very easy to capture a 5-year-old soul beast. As soon as the ghost demon appeared, it immediately attracted everyone's attention. Its appearance is very ugly and weird, which makes people feel uncomfortable and don't want to take another look at it. It has a human-like appearance, is 5 meters tall, is covered in dark blue light, has 3 tentacle-like heads, all with 1 eye, and has a mouth as big as a basin, located on its torso. Densely packed sharp teeth are vaguely visible. After the ghost demon landed, it immediately thought about running away and looked very frightened. However, with Guangxuangfei's bloody aura, the ghost demon could only move in the sealed area. With its strength, it could not break through Guangxuangfei's bloody aura. Period. A 5-year-old soul beast can barely enter the ranks of a strong soul beast, but the ghost demon at this time does not look like a strong soul beast at all. It looks more like a wood spirit pig domesticated by humans. Waiting. Arrest and kill. After many attempts to get out failed, the ghost demon began to become violent and kept roaring like a beast. The 3 tentacle-like heads gradually turned into dark blue, especially the 3 big eyes, which were completely filled with dark blue, exuding smells-rich energy. Zzz. An electric sound sounded from the 3 heads of the ghost demon, and then 3 blue energy rays burst out. Boom! The 3 blue energy rays exploded violently after hitting Gong Zhongfei's bloody aura barrier. The electric light flashed for a moment, looking extremely powerful. However, those 3 blue energy rays did not shake Gong Zhongfei's bloody aura barrier, but only caused some energy ripples. Go ahead and be careful later, it's in a rage right now. Gong Zhongfei came to Chen Luo's side and said calmly. Chen Luo nodded lightly, okay. Xiao Wu glanced at Chen Luo with some worry, but after her eyes glanced at Gong Zhongfei and the others, her worry instantly disappeared. With Gong Zhongfei and the others here, nothing could happen to Chen Luo. If you are worried, you are also worried about the process of Chen Luo absorbing the soul ring after killing the ghost demon. Chen Luo stepped forward slowly, and as he advanced, he activated his martial spirit. A huge black scythe appeared in his hand, and the shadow of death that only he could see appeared in front of him and then disappeared into his body. Powerful power instantly filled his body. At the same time, 4 soul rings, 2 purple and 2 black, slowly rose up, and Chen Luo's momentum exploded instantly. Immortal. With a low drink, Chen Luo entered a stronger state, becoming a little stronger on the basis of his original momentum. His whole body was covered in black flames, and the flames on the death side were even stronger. Under the watchful eyes of Xiao Wu and the undead, Chen Luo walked into Gong Zhongfei's red aura barrier and instantly attracted the attention of the ghost demon. The ghost demon was furious at this time and wanted to find a target to vent his anger on, so he immediately targeted Chen Luo. The moment Chen Luo stepped into the barrier, the Death God's armor, Death God's boots and other equipment all appeared, and the extremely dark armor was also covered with black flames. Even though Chen Luo's momentum did not increase significantly, it still gave people a sense of awe. A feeling that has become much stronger. After all, the ghost demon is a 5-year-old soul beast. If it were a human soul master, it would be close to the control level. Now that Chen Luo has turned on immortality, he has a combat power that is close to that of a soul saint. It is still difficult to deal with 5-year-old ghosts and demons, and he must use all his strength. The ghost demon quickly started to move, rushing towards Chen Luo very quickly. This particularly ugly creature looks big, but is extremely flexible, not clumsy at all, and extremely fast. In an instant, the ghost demon came in front of Chen Luo and swung his huge fist towards Chen Luo. Chen Luo's speed was even faster. His own speed was already outrageous. With the addition of the death boots, his speed could be described as abnormal. Chen Luo just dodged his body and avoided the attack of the ghost demon with great flexibility, leaving a shadow in midair. The ghost demon's fist hit the ground, and the extremely powerful force directly made a big hole in the ground. After the attack failed, the ghost demon immediately attacked again, but Chen Luo no longer gave it a chance. After avoiding the attack of the ghost demon, Chen Luo came behind the ghost demon so fast that the ghost demon could not react. The scythe of death swung down and accurately struck the tentacle-like head of the ghost demon. Chong! The seemingly fragile tentacle head of the ghost demon turned out to be extremely hard. The sickle blade of the death scythe fell on it, leaving only a few traces, making a sound like a metal collision. Chen Luo took a closer look and saw that there was a blue energy protective layer on the tentacle-like head of the ghost demon, and other parts of its body were also covered with such an energy protective layer. Flame. Chen Luo's attacks will never be single after turning on immortality. He will take advantage of when he is strong to output damage like crazy. In the past, there was a time limit for activating immortality, but now there is no limit, and Chen Luo continues his violent output as always. Chen Luo's second soul ring suddenly lit up, and black flames instantly swept out from the death side, almost covering the entire body of the ghost demon. After completing an attack, Chen Luo immediately retreated. Although his fighting style was fierce, he never fell in love with fighting. The next second Chen Luo retreated, 3 dark blue energy rays burst out from the black flames at extremely fast speeds. They landed exactly where Chen Luo was and exploded with a loud bang. You must be decisive when fighting. If Chen Luo was just a little slower, he would no longer be able to avoid the attack of the ghost demon. Chen Luo was very confident in his body, but he was not confident enough to resist the attack of a 5-year-old soul beast. The ghost demon's energy ray attack made a lot of noise, but it still failed to affect Chen Luo at all. Chen Luo launched the attack again with an expressionless face. Arriving in front of the ghost demon in an instant, the death scythe fell again. Shadow-bound. Chen Luo's third soul ring shone with light, and the 10,000-year soul skill brought by the dark 10,000-year soul ring was extremely powerful single-target control. I saw countless black shadows bursting out from the death side, instantly binding the ghosts and demons tightly. Chen Luo seized this opportunity and attacked crazily. Every time the death scythe fell, it would release flames, and the protective layer on the ghost demon began to rupture. Chen Luo struck again, and the black flame swallowed up the ghost demon, and the protective layer on the ghost demon completely collapsed. Finally, the defense was broken. The real output will also unfold. The moment the shadow restraint controlled the ghost demon, Chen Luo could roughly calculate how long he could control the ghost demon. Everything was under Chen Luo's control. He distanced himself from the ghost demon at the last second before the control effect of the shadow restraint expired. After the ghost demon broke free from the shadow, it immediately rushed towards Chen Luo crazily. Chapter 178 The First Soul Ring. Chen Luo was well aware of the terrifying power of the ghost demon, so he did not choose to fight head-on, but immediately retreated. With a bonus of the death boots, Chen Luo's speed was extremely fast. Even though the ghost demon was also very fast, it could not catch up with Chen Luo. Chen Luo and the ghost demon began to fight, waiting for the right opportunity to attack. Soon, the ghost demon became even more irritable because it could not catch up with Chen Luo. It stood there and continuously released energy rays. Boom boom boom. Explosions sounded one after another, and the ground was blown into a mess. Some of the energy rays hit Gong Zhongfei's barrier. Although it caused a lot of momentum, it still failed to shake Gong Zhongfei's barrier at all. Chen Luo has always chosen to dodge. With his speed and preparation, it is relatively easy to dodge the attack of the ghost demon. Basically, the attacks of the ghost demon are all calculated by Chen Luo. He can always use the most cunning method to dodge. Angle to avoid a bombardment of energy rays. After the attack by the ghost demon, he soon fell into a short period of weakness, which was just an opportunity for Chen Luo. The ghost demon itself is a very special kind of soul beast, similar to the combination of an energy body and a monster. Its recovery speed is extremely fast, otherwise it would not be able to release so many energy rays in succession. There wasn't much time for Chen Luo to perform, and he knew it very well. In an instant, he was in front of the ghost demon, and started with a blast of flames. Then he retreated a distance and activated his fourth soul skill, Black Flame Impact. Black flames shot up into the sky and instantly enveloped the ghost demon's entire body. Under the violent energy impact and high temperature burning, the ghost demon couldn't stop roaring in pain. The flames from Chen Luo's hand have torn apart the last layer of defense of the ghost demon. After Chen Luo smashed the ghost demon's energy defense barrier, there is also an energy defense barrier on the ghost demon. If you don't look carefully, it will be very obvious. Easy to ignore. The defensive energy barrier is very fragile and can only block one attack at most. In order to maximize the effect of his black flame impact, Chen Luo first attacks at close range, all of which are details of the battle. Under the devastation of the black flame impact, the ghost demon's state became much more decadent. The dark blue light on its body gradually became dim, and there were horrific burn wounds everywhere on its body, especially its three tentacle-like heads. It turned into pitch black. Chen Luo immediately took advantage of the victory and pursued it. The third soul skill, Shadow Binding, was ready at this time. When he came to the ghost demon, he swung the death scythe and struck it on his body and activated it immediately. The black shadow reappeared, bursting out from the death scythe, and instantly controlled the ghost demon. Chen Luo then let down 3 more flames, and the life of the ghost and demon gradually disappeared. PFFT. Chen Luo held the death scythe tightly and swung it down with all his strength. The blade of the death scythe sank into the ghost demon's body very easily. This time, the flames did not erupt again, but it just ended the ghost demon's life. The ghost demon fell to the ground with a crash, and the dark blue light on his body was completely extinguished. A circle of dark soul rings slowly emerged from the corpse of the ghost demon, symbolizing the complete death of the ghost demon. Rest where you are, and then absorb the soul ring directly. Gong Zhongfei said calmly that the battle between Chen Luo and the ghost demon was over, but Gong Zhongfei did not lift the barrier. Instead, he waved his hand, and the bloody breath surged out, submerged into the barrier, and destroyed the barrier. Much improved. Barriers are a great place to fight, but they are also a very strong defensive shield. With a blood barrier around, Chen Luo can safely absorb the soul ring. In fact, whether there is a barrier or not does not have much impact. Gong Zhongfei is right next to him. Even if there is any danger, it is estimated that Gong's Hongfei will have solved it all before the danger arrives. In addition to Gong's Hongfei, Guang's Honggang, Yu Yao and others are also powerful. They are also strong men above the Soul Saint level. Besides, Li Feng and Bianlu are still here. Even if the 10-year-old Soul Beast suddenly arrives, they will still be able to fight when they open the Demon Abyss. But it's better than nothing, and it can make things more secure. After saying that, Guang's Hongfei added, "You should be able to absorb the power in the barrier. I have lifted the restriction, and you can use that part of the power." The bloody barrier not only plays a protective role, but is also an extremely rich energy supply station. It's just that this energy can only be used by Chen Luo, and it contains too much of Guang's Hongfei's aura. Only Chen Luo's death technique can remove all impurities except pure energy. On this basis, Guang's Hongfei also needs to lift the restrictions in the barrier and completely open it to Chen Luo, which is indispensable. Chen Luo nodded lightly. "Thank you, Senior. There is no need to rest. I am still in good condition and can absorb the soul ring directly." After saying that, Chen Luo sat down in front of the ghost demon's body and began to absorb the ghost demon's soul ring. Guang's Honggang and others, who had been watching the battle silently outside the barrier, finally started talking. "Our boss is so strong. I felt like there was no pressure at all to kill that 5-year-old soul beast. The whole process seemed very relaxed. He had the 5-year-old soul beast under control completely. The most terrifying thing is that after killing that, year-old soul beast, after the head soul beast, the boss is still in full condition, which is outrageous." Guang's Honggang said with a smile. Yu Yao nodded lightly. "The boss's training method is very special, and his recovery ability can be described as terrifying. As long as the boss is not constantly attacking, his soul power consumption rate is probably not as fast as his recovery speed." At this time, Yu Yao took out the energy crystal again and slowly began to move it. Duan Xiao said, "The pieces of equipment on the boss are also very powerful. I feel that those equipments can compete with some artifacts. They are too powerful, and they seem to be able to become more powerful as the boss's strength increases." While Liang Heo smiled, "It seems that we will be able to add a new member later." Everyone's eyes fell on the corpse of the ghost demon. Although the 5-year-old soul beast was rare, it was still relatively rare. Everyone had seen the combat power of the ghost demon just now, which was enough for their boss. Abnormal. Otherwise, while Liang Heo, who has the strength of the soul-changing saint, would probably be very difficult to win, and he would probably not even be able to defeat him. The target of the 5-year-old soul beast is basically the control level. Chen Luo won easily. It's just that Chen Luo is stronger. It doesn't mean that the ghost demon is bad. The ghost demon is relatively strong in terms of strength and speed, and has long-range energy attacks. It has a combat power equivalent to the level of a human soul master Contra. Of course, such an excellent dead soul beast cannot be missed. When everyone was talking, they used their soul power to specifically block the sound, which would not affect Chen Luo's absorption of the soul ring. Chapter 179. The burial ground. After all, the ghost demon's soul ring is at the 5-year level. Even though Chen Luo's body is strong, it is absorbed beyond the level. The process of absorbing the soul ring is destined to be very long. It wasn't until the next morning that Chen Luo completed absorbing the soul ring. The process could only be described as a near miss. The energy of the 5-year-old soul ring was so terrifying that even Chen Luo's powerful body could barely hold on, and he was just a hair away from exploding. Chen Luo doesn't have to worry about the impact of the soul beast's remnants on him. For Chen Luo, what he is most confident about is not his soul power, but his extremely powerful soul. The attack of the soul beast Kenyan was simply a joke to Chen Luo. Besides, Chen Luo also has death armor, which makes him immune to any soul or mental attacks. The only time the death armor becomes ineffective is in special places like the Valley of Death. After absorbing the soul ring, the first thing Chen Luo saw when he opened his eyes was the corpse of the ghost demon. Just as Wai Liang Heo and others predicted, the undead team is about to welcome new members. Chen Luo immediately revived the corpse of the ghost demon. He had had such a plan from the beginning, so after absorbing the soul ring, the first thing he did was not to check his own improvement, but to revive the ghost demon. The death scythe sank into the body of the ghost demon and activated its awakening. The energy in Chen Luo's body was quickly drained away. In order to be able to recycle the waste, Chen Luo even actively absorbed Gong's Hongfei's barrier energy during the process of waking up, and use this part of the energy as nourishment for the ghost demon to wake up. Waking up consumes a lot of energy. After a while, Chen Luo's face turned pale, and the barrier set up by Gong's Hongfei had disappeared. But after all, the ghost demon is only a 5-year-old soul beast. Compared with the titled Douluo level soul master, it is more than one level behind it, and it is relatively easier to wake up. The main thing is that Chen Luo has obtained the 5th soul ring, and his strength has undergone a qualitative change again. Not to mention awakening the ghost demon in front of him, he can easily awaken another titled Douluo. In about 5 minutes, the awakening ended. In addition to borrowing Gong's Hongfei's barrier energy, Chen Luo also consumed nearly 1/3 of the energy. The extinguished dark blue light of the ghost demon flickered again. The wounds on its body had been completely recovered during the awakening process, and thanks to the awakening, its size had increased slightly. The dark blue light on the 3 tentacle-like heads becomes richer. The ghost demon quickly stood up, with a gray aura lingering around him, and finally hid in the ghost demon's body, and the ghost demon's strength also increased a lot. Guang's Hongyang and others came to Chen Luo at this time and asked about Chen Luo's situation. "Boss, how much will you improve after absorbing this big guy's soul ring?" Guang's Hongyang asked with a smile. Chen Luo replied calmly, "It's level 56. Guang's Hongyang. Other undead. "Boss, are you so perverted? You just got a new soul ring and you are about to jump directly to level 56. Are you still far from level, comma?" Guang's Hongyang couldn't help but sigh. Yu Yao smiled and said with a look of surprise on his face, but compared to Gong's Hongyang's excessive excitement, Yu Yao seemed much calmer. This should be related to the fact that the boss has obtained the soul ring and practiced for a long time. If I remember correctly, the boss was already level, comma, when he came back from the Valley of Death. Guang's Hongyang curled his lips. "Brother, how many days has it been?" Yu Yao smiled naively. "That's right. In a few days, I will be worthy of being the boss." Chen Luo smiled and didn't say much about this matter. Of course, he couldn't tell everyone that he had been promoted to level 3 by completing system tasks. Regardless of the 3rd level of system upgrade, the 5-year-old soul ring contributed by the ghost demon is also quite powerful, directly upgraded to 3 levels. This is the benefit brought by absorbing soul rings beyond the level. It's just that Chen Luo needs to continue to practice and consolidate his own strength for a long period of time in the future to avoid the situation of overthrowing the achievements. It shouldn't take too long to cultivate and consolidate. Since Chen Luo broke through level, comma, his cultivation has become much easier and he can do a better job in consolidating his strength. This is due to Chen Luo's foundation before level, comma, and the god level technique of death technique. "Big guy, welcome to join us." Guang's Hongyang actually started to greet the ghost demon at this time, but the ghost demon just glanced at Gong's Hongyang indifferently. Chen Luo said, "It is just an undead puppet, without consciousness or intelligence." Guang's Hongyang smiled awkwardly. "Okay. This way you can throw this big guy into the skull ring, and you won't have to compete with us for the position in the necromantic space." Chen Luo nodded lightly. This was exactly what he planned to do. Otherwise he would not have awakened the ghost demon after absorbing the soul ring. Giving the ghost demon intelligence can indeed make the ghost demon stronger, but no matter how strong it is, it won't be too outrageous. The space in the necromantic space is limited, so leave it to stronger beings. "Who has the skull ring on him now?" Chen Luo asked. Li Feng took the initiative to step forward and stretched out his left hand. Annan's childish voice came from the skull ring. "Boss, what are your orders?" Chen Luo pointed at the ghost demon. "Take it in. We have enough manpower. This guy is too conspicuous." "Okay, boss." Li Feng walked in front of the ghost demon, and the skull ring suddenly shone brightly. A black magic circle appeared at the ghost demon's feet. A faint light flickered, and the ghost demon disappeared directly. "It's done, boss." "Well, good job. The efficiency is getting higher and higher." Chen Luo praised Annan with a smile. Annan smiled excitedly. "It's all boss, you gave me more power." Xiao Wu had also arrived at Chen Luo's side at this time, looking at Chen Luo in surprise. Chen Luo looked at Xiao Wu, smiled slightly, and introduced, "You just saw it, that is the awakening of my special ability." Xiao Wu nodded lightly and smiled. "Awesome." Chen Luo smiled and said, "You have to be powerful. How can I protect you if you are not powerful?" When Xiao Wu heard this, the smile on her face became even stronger. Cough cough. while the other undead walked away silently, creating a better atmosphere for Chen Luo and Xiao Wu. Guang's Huangfei coughed dryly and reminded, "We should continue on our way." Chen Luo nodded, "Okay." The group of people set foot on the road to the center of the Stardow forest again. While on the way, Xiao Wu once again told Chen Luo about the mysterious burial place of the soul beast corpse. "I remember, that place is called the burial ground. Daming definitely knows where it is. Let Daming take us there when the time comes." After advancing for a while, Chen Luo and his party stopped. Guang's Huangfei said, "There is a 10-year-old soul beast approaching us. Should we kill it?" Chen Luo smiled and said, "That's one of our own." Chapter 180 The Four Great Beasts. Boom boom boom. Guang's Huangfei was the first to notice the movement in the distance, and then Chen Luo and the others felt it very clearly. The ground seemed to be trembling, as if a huge thing was moving forward, making a big noise. Guang's Honggang had already reached a big tree at this time, looked around, frowned slightly and said, "It seems to be a Titan ape." "Yes, it is a Titan ape. It's coming towards us, very fast." At first Gong's Honggang was a little unsure, but after seeing it clearly, he immediately confirmed the identity of the Titan ape. Xiao Wu was about to introduce the Titan ape to everyone, but the Titan ape suddenly accelerated and rushed to where everyone was in a few breaths. The scene was extremely shocking. A large area of towering trees was easily pushed aside and fell to both sides. A huge black ape with a height of at least 15 meters came in front of everyone. The Titan ape stood there like a hill, with a fierce look on its face, and a pair of huge fists that seemed likely to swing at Chen Luo and the others at any time. Huge pressure burst out from the Titan ape and attacked Chen Luo and the others, but Chen Luo and the others seemed extremely calm, with a little surprise in their eyes. Especially Gong's Hongfei, his eyes were even more disdainful. "Fear? That doesn't exist, it's the Titans that should be feared." After the Titan giant ape saw Chen Luo and others, they did not take action immediately because they were afraid of the strength of Chen Luo and the others. To be precise, they were afraid of Gong's Hongfei and Li Feng by Anlu and his wife. As a 10-year-old soul beast, the Titan ape has already possessed intelligence that is no less than that of human beings, and is much smarter than ordinary humans. It knew very well what it would bring to itself if it acted rashly, but when it saw Xiao Wu next to those people, its rationality began to fade away. Roar. The Titan giant ape obviously misunderstood something, and roared at Chen Luo and the others, causing a large wave of air. Guang's Huangfei just waved his hand and easily resisted. The terrifying sound waves and air waves did not affect Chen Luo and others at all. Or sensing the crisis, Li Feng and Bian Lu immediately came to Chen Luo and activated their martial spirits at the same time. Powerful aura surged out, and 9 slightly gray best-matched spirit rings slowly rose from the feet of Li Feng and Bian Lu. They were the best symbols of strength at the title Douluo level. On the other side, Guang's Huangfei glanced at the Titan ape indifferently, stretched out his big hand, and a bloody longsword appeared in Gong's Hongfei's hand. The same 9 best-matched soul rings with a little gray slowly came from Guang's Hongfei's feet. It rose slowly, but the momentum displayed by Gong's Hongfei was even more powerful than the momentum created by Li Feng, Bian Lu and his wife. In terms of momentum alone, even if Gong's Hongfei faced the Titan giant ape alone, he was not weak at all, and was even vaguely stronger. You must know that Gong's Hongfei is a level 97 peak Douluo, and his strength is close to the limit of human beings. The 10-year-old soul beast is very powerful in front of ordinary title Douluo, especially the king of the forest, Titan giant ape. It is difficult for ordinary title Douluo and even ordinary peak Douluo to get benefits from its hands, but in front of Gong's Hongfei, he felt a little weak. This was the sense of oppression brought by the level 97 peak Douluo. When Li Feng, Bian Lu and Gong's Hongfei showed their strength, the Titan giant ape subconsciously took a step back and calmed down instantly. Xiao Wu immediately stepped forward, urging, "These are my friends, don't be impulsive." In fact, whether Xiao Wu said it or not, it was impossible for the Titan ape to be impulsive again, because the price of impulsiveness would be death. This is the advantage of having a hard fist. When your fist is hard enough, others can stand there and talk to you properly. If you are a soft persimmon, others will not care so much and just want to take care of you casually. If Chen Luo and the others were not strong enough, the most likely scenario would be that the Titan giant ape would directly hammer Chen Luo and the others to death, and then leave with Xiao Wu. As the forest king of the Stardow forest, The Titan giant ape does not have such a good temper and patience, unless it is faced with an existence even more powerful than it. Friend. The Titan ape spoke human words in a rough, middle-aged man's voice, and the doubts in his voice were obvious. Xiao Wu nodded vigorously. Don't you even trust me? The Titan giant ape hesitated slightly, glanced at Gong Zhongfei and others again, and nodded gently. I believe Sister Xiao. At this time, you have to believe it if you believe it, and you have to believe it if you don't believe it. The main reason is that Chen Luo and his team's lineup is too strong. Even if Chen Luo and his team push straight to the center of the Star Dao Forest, it's okay, as long as no other 10-year-old soul beasts appear. With Chen Luo's lineup, even if they fight against a Titan giant ape and Azure Bull Python, they can still win. Li Feng Bianlu and the others dealt with one of the two ferocious beasts, and Gong Zhongfei dealt with the other. With Gong Zhongfei's strength, it was more than enough to kill the 10-year-old soul beast. You must know that Gong Zhongfei is not just an ordinary level 97 peak Douluo, he also has an identity, a necromancer. Gong Zhongfei, who has resurrected from the dead, gained more powerful power from Chen Luo's awakening. The characteristics of the undead were not limited. As the saying goes, if your fist is hard enough, you can say anything easily. In fact, on the way here, Xiao Wu had already briefly introduced the Titan giant ape and Azure Bull Python, but everyone knew that soul beasts, especially 10-year-old soul beasts, were particularly unpopular with humans, and they had to be treated. Be prepared for battle. As expected, the Titan giant ape never thought of having a good conversation in the first place, and it was only after seeing the strength displayed by Gong Zhongfei and the others that he calmed down instantly. Previously, Gong Zhongfei noticed the existence of the Titan ape and said that he would kill the Titan ape. Except for some jokes, most of them contained Gong Zhongfei's true thoughts. 10-year-old soul beasts are a fatal temptation for soul masters. At the same time, they are also full of threats. Gong Zhongfei will not allow beings that endanger Chen Luo's life to approach. At the same time, he also wants to capture the Titan giant ape and let Chen Luo improve your strength faster. Come to think of it, everything in the end still has to be decided by Chen Luo. Seeing that the Titan giant ape had completely calmed down, Gong Zhongfei restrained his aura, but Li Feng and Bianlu still kept their martial arts activated and were ready to activate the martial soul fusion skill Moin at any time. After all, Li Feng and Bianlu were completely undead. They had lost their intelligence and had no normal thinking. They only had the most instinctive idea, which was to protect Chen Luo. Chen Luo said, "Okay, it's okay." Li Feng and Bianlu then put away their martial spirits, and their powerful auras also restrained. "Let's go, take us to see the Azure Bull Python," Chen Luo said calmly. Chapter 181. The Titan giant ape glanced at Chen Luo with some fear, and then his eyes fell on Xiao Wu with a slightly questioning look. From the beginning, the Titan giant ape felt that Chen Luo was not simple. Later, after seeing Chen Luo's orders to those strong human soul masters, he became even more convinced that that human boy was the strong human soul master. The real backbone of the if we take down that human boy, we might be able to eliminate all threats, but the key point is that we can't do it. It is estimated that before it reaches the opponent, it will have been killed by the strong human soul master next to the opponent. Period. The Titan ape is still very smart, but has a bad temper, but as long as the opponent is strong enough, it can still control its temper. Xiao Wu nodded vigorously. Well, take us to see Daming. We haven't seen it for a long time. They came here specially to protect me and do some things on the way. The Titan giant ape glanced at Chen Luo and the others again and said nothing, but his huge figure had already started to move, and his big hand stretched out in front of Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu immediately jumped up along the Titan ape's hand, and soon came to the Titan ape's shoulder. Then, the Titan giant ape walked quickly towards the center of the Star Dao Forest. Chen Luo and the others, who did not receive an invitation to ride, immediately used their own methods to follow. Gong Zhongfei once again became a tool man, activated his martial soul true form, and used his demon-slaying sword to carry everyone to follow the Titan ape. In fact, even if the Titan giant ape asked Chen Luo and the others to go to his shoulder and take a ride, Chen Luo and the others would not go. Xiao Wu had absolute trust in the Titan ape, but Chen Luo and the others did not. In this way, the Titan giant ape and Xiao Wu walked in front, and Chen Luo and his group walked behind. As they moved forward, they soon entered the central area of the Star Dao Forest. After passing through a dense forest, the view ahead suddenly opened up. The eyes of Chen Luo and others were instantly attracted by the scenery ahead. Lakes and big trees are the main content of the scenery. The clear small lake makes the air more humid. The surrounding towering trees are reflected on the lake surface. The sun shines brightly, and everything becomes crystal clear under the reflection of the water's surface. This paradise-like environment cannot be described as beautiful. Once you enter it, you will feel a very special feeling, as if you have stepped into another world. This place is filled with extremely rich energy, making it an excellent training place and the perfect habitat for soul beasts. The arrival of Chen Luo and the others instantly attracted the attention of the giant creature in the lake. Ripples appeared on the calm lake surface, and then the lake water rolled, and the air became more humid. A huge bullhead with a diameter of more than 4 meters suddenly emerged from the water, and then an extremely huge snake-shaped body was seen. Covered with the green scales, is the azure bull python. As soon as the azure bull python appeared, terrifying pressure instantly burst out from its body. The invisible pressure even created a gust of wind that made the surrounding trees roar. "Who are you?" The old hoarse voice came from the big mouth of the azure bull python, with absolute majesty and a little fear. After Chen Luo and others saw the azure bull python, the surprise of seeing the titan ape flashed through their eyes again. The expressions on their faces seemed to say that this was the azure bull python. No one showed fear on their faces. It was as if the terrifying pressure did not exist on them, and the violent wind created by the azure bull python's explosive momentum did not affect Chen Luo and the others at all. Guang's Huangfei's eyes were calm, and he did not show the same disdain he had when he faced the titan ape before. Li Feng and Bian Lu, the two titled Douluo couples, had expressionless faces. They had no emotions in the first place. Xiao Wu said, "They are my friends and send me home." Only then did the azure bull python notice Xiao Wu on the titan ape. All of its attention had previously been attracted by Chen Luo and the others. When Chen Luo and the others were about to arrive, the azure bull python had already noticed the aura of Chen Luo and the others. At that time, all the azure bull python's attention was focused on Chen Luo and the others. Of course, Tianqing Niu python's main concern was Gong's Hongfei and Li Feng Bianlu. It was the three of them who really brought him a sense of crisis. After seeing Xiao Wu, a hint of surprise flashed through the lantern-like eyes of the azure bull python, but they were soon filled with murderous aura. "Sister Xiao, don't trust human soul masters easily." The azure bull python then looked at the titan giant ape, "What the hell are you doing? You actually brought them here." The titan giant ape said, "I believe in Sister Xiao. In fact, I believe in Gong's Hongfei's strength." Chen Luo couldn't help but sigh when he saw this scene. Our soul beasts so hostile to human soul masters? But think about it, when someone puts a knife to your chest, you can't calm down. Let's just calm down a little bit. Chen Luo waved his hand and summoned the Black Curse. Black Curse's current strength is equivalent to that of a level 95 peak Douluo, and his combat effectiveness is even stronger. With the help of the Death Badge Hell Messenger, Black Curse has completed its evolution. Black Curse has never been summoned by Chen Luo, mainly because Black Curse took the initiative to practice hard in the necromantic space to consolidate his strength. Now it's time to support the scene, and we must come out to make up the numbers. As soon as the Black Curse appeared, the murderous aura in the azure bull python's eyes suddenly disappeared, replaced by a look of indifference. "I believe you for now," azure bull python said calmly. "If a knife is put to your chest, you will be anxious. If a knife is put to your neck, it will be useless to worry. If Chen Luo wants to take action against the two ferocious beasts in front of him, he can still easily defeat them. There are two peak Douluo, and there are two existences that are equivalent to peak Douluo after using martial soul fusion skills. They also have the undead spirit. With its characteristics, it is only a matter of time before it kills the azure bull python and titan ape." Sure enough, being strong means being easy to talk to. After giving up their struggle, the azure bull python and the titan giant ape then entered the stage of reuniting their relatives with Xiao Wu, and Chen Luo and the others were obviously unable to join in. Under Chen Luo's arrangement, everyone rested by the small lake. Guang's Huangfei's eyes always stayed on the azure bull python and titan giant ape. Li Feng and Bian Lu also always guarded Chen Luo's side. Black Curse had already figured out the situation of himself and others at this time. He took a look at the azure bull python and the titan giant ape, and couldn't help but smile. "Boss, I should have nothing to do here. I'm going back to practice." Chen Luo nodded slightly, and the Black Curse returned to the dead space. On Xiao Wu's side, after reminiscing with the Azure Bull Python Titan, they brought up the matter of the bone burial ground. At first, Azure Bull Python was full of anger, but after Xiao Wu's persuasion, he finally chose to surrender. Chapter 182 Inexplicable Familiarity. Okay, I can tell him where the burial place is, but you can't go. Under Xiao Wu's persuasion, Azure Bull Python finally chose to agree, but at the same time he also put forward conditions. Xiao Wu frowned slightly and asked, "Why can't I go?" The Azure Bull Python said very directly, "That place is too dangerous, especially for us soul beasts. Tell me more details." Xiao Wu looked like he was asking for the truth. The Azure Bull Python sighed, and then said slowly, "In the Stardao Forest, every soul beast that is about to die will go to the bone burial ground to end its life. As long as the soul beast goes there, there will be no turning back. Maybe that place is too weird. Even if a normal spirit beast passes through there, it cannot escape the fate of death. If the bone burial ground were not very remote, it is estimated that most of the life in the Stardao Forest will be devoured by it. Those who know the bone burial ground are also relatively powerful soul beasts. Most of them go there because their lifespan is about to end. If they are injured or other reasons, they will not go to the bone burial ground. I heard from them that it can bring real relief to the soul beasts there, but in my opinion it is the hell of the soul beasts." When Xiao Wu heard this, she couldn't help but ask, "You haven't been there?" "Of course I have been there, but I just watched from a distance. I didn't really go to the scope of the burial ground. Otherwise, how would I know its specific location?" The Azure Bull Python said, "I once witnessed a 9-year-old soul beast jumping directly into the bone burial ground. It didn't want to die, but it seemed to be caught back by a special force. Because it is far away, I am not particularly clear about the specific situation, but the scene was really weird. So you can't go. If you don't agree, I will not reveal the location of the bone burial ground no matter what, and let the human soul masters find it on their own." Azure Bull Python reiterated it again, and the tone was more affirmative. Seeing this, Xiao Wu could only nod and agree, Okay, I won't go, but you have to show them the way. They are not familiar with the Stardao Forest." Azure Bull Python said, "I will tell Erming the location of the burial ground and let him take them there. I have to keep an eye on you." Xiao Wu showed a helpless smile. "I seem to be the kind of person who doesn't keep his promises." "Like?" Azure Bull Python said very decisively. "You don't trust me that much?" Xiao Wu asked with a sigh. "I only trust my eyes," Azure Bull Python said calmly. Xiao Wu. When Xiao Wu and Tianqing Niu Python were talking about the burial place, they did not lower their voices. Chen Luo and others who were resting by the lake heard it very clearly. In fact, Xiao Wu didn't hide anything when reminiscing with the Azure Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape, as if she completely ignored Chen Luo's existence. Most of what they talked about was what they had experienced recently, as well as the changes in the Soul Beast Forest and the outside world. "Erming, come here." After reaching an agreement with Xiao Wu, the Azure Bull Python called the Titan Giant Ape to his side. When talking about the location of the burial ground, the Azure Bull Python did not obstruct anything. For example, it did not use force to deliberately isolate the sound. It seemed that it was to let Chen Luo and the others hear, and the voice of the words was still there. A bit bigger on purpose. Even so, Chen Luo and the others didn't know where the place Tianqing Niu Python mentioned was. "We can only know the approximate location of the bone burial ground, which is somewhere in the north of the Stardao Forest. This is probably because you are not familiar with the place. Others give you directions and give you a lot of location names, but in the end you can only distinguish the southeast, northwest and northwest." After getting the direction of the bone burial ground, the Titan Ape waved towards Chen Luo and the others without any ink marks. "Follow me." After saying that, the Titan Giant Ape ran in one direction at a very fast speed. "Li Feng Bianlu, you stay here to protect Xiao Wu. Anan, you are responsible for controlling them." Chen Luo said. "Yes." Three voices sounded at the same time. Li Feng and Bianlu's voices were emotionless, while Anan's voice revealed a little loss. "Boss, can you bring me with you next time?" Anan finally couldn't help but said. Chen Luo said, "Let's talk about it next time." After completing this simple arrangement, Chen Luo, Guangzhongfei and the others quickly followed the Titan Giant Ape. Just like when they came to the small lake, Guangzhongyang acted as a tool man again, activating the true body of the martial spirit and leading the giant ape. Flying with everyone's sword. The Titan giant ape was very fast, and it seemed that he didn't care whether Chen Luo and the others could keep up. After he said follow me before setting off, he didn't say another word, and just kept rushing forward. Of course, Chen Luo and the others could keep up with the Titan ape. Even if Gongzhongyang couldn't activate the martial soul's true form, it would be relatively easy for Chen Luo and the others to keep up with the Titan ape based on their respective strengths. The worst person in the team is Chen Luo, the boss. He has just been promoted to Soul King, but he has the boots of death and his own speed is ridiculous. It is not difficult to keep up with the Titan giant ape. The worst among the others is Soul Sage, Yu Yao and Duan Xiaoi or Soul Douluo, not to mention Guangzhongfei, the real boss in the team. It may be difficult for ordinary Soul Saints to keep up with the pace of the Titan giant ape, but none of the Soul Saints here is worthy of the word ordinary. They all have the label of Necromancer, and they all have the terrifying ability of Necromancer. Period. The Star Dao forest was wider than Chen Luo imagined. This was not the first time that he had such emotion. Every time he walked in the Star Dao forest, Chen Luo would feel like a lone sail sailing on the sea. After running for nearly a day and night, Chen Luo and others finally arrived near the burial ground. At this time, they were standing on the top of a mountain, looking into the distance 2,000 meters away. There is a huge canyon, whereas Chen Luo's final destination, the burial ground. At first glance, Chen Luo seemed to be seeing the Valley of Death in a trance, and Gongzhongyang even expressed emotion directly. Why does this place look so familiar? Fuck. Valley of Death. Gongzhongyang's eyes widened in disbelief, but he soon regained his composure. No, it's not the Valley of Death. The Valley of Death is not that big, and the Valley of Death is not so desolate, at least on the surface so. Well, it's just a bit similar. Chen Luo said calmly. The bone burial ground in front is surrounded by desolation and extremely sparse trees, which is in sharp contrast to the dense woods further away. Chen Luo vaguely remembered the environment in the Valley of Death. The trees were so dense that they could be described as weird. They grew so crowded that they formed a wall. Now it seems that the bone burial ground is completely different from the Valley of Death, but it did give Chen Luo and Gongzhongyang a very familiar feeling just now. That's the burial ground. You go there on your own. The Titan ape made a deep voice, then turned around and left without looking back. Chen Luo didn't care. Duan Xiaoi and the others had already remembered the way they came, so there was no need to worry about not being able to go back. The next road is destined to be walked by themselves. Chen Luo glanced at the death bracelet on his wrist and smiled lightly. Black Curse, I have to ask you to come out to support the scene again. The black light flashed, and the black curse appeared next to Chen Luo. As soon as he saw the bone burial ground in front of him, he immediately let out the same emotion as Gongzhongyang, the Valley of Death. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 The Abyss. Why, you also feel that the canyon in front of you is very familiar, right? Chen Luo asked. Black Curse nodded. Yes, at first glance, it really feels like returning to the Valley of Death, but if you take a closer look, you will find that it is completely different from the Valley of Death. Gongzhongyang smiled and said, Senior Black Curse, it seems that we all feel the same way. We are inexplicably familiar, right? Ah. Black Curse nodded, then looked at Chen Luo. Boss, is this your new good place? Chen Luo raised his lips slightly. It's definitely a good place, but it looks a bit dangerous. Is there any place more dangerous than the Valley of Death? Black Curse said with a smile. Chen Luo grinned. Maybe it's right in front of you. Yu Yao smiled and said, Boss, the more I think about it now, the more regretful I feel that I was not able to go to the Valley of Death with you. Every time I hear Gongzhongyang talk about the Valley of Death, I feel particularly excited. While Liang Hao and Duan Xiao nodded in unison, we are too. Chen Luo smiled slightly. There is nothing to regret. I have a hunch that this action will only be more dangerous than the Valley of Death. Okay, no more nonsense, let's go. Chen Luo pointed in front of him. It doesn't matter what the Valley of Death, the bone burial ground, capture them all. After saying something high-spirited, Chen Luo looked at Gongzhongfei next to him. This man was the real boss. Senior, I may trouble you again later. You don't have to be so polite. Serving you is the meaning of our existence. Guangzhongfei said calmly. Guangzhongyang had summoned the giant demon-slaying sword at this time and waved to everyone, "Let's go." Everyone came to the demon-slaying sword, except Guangzhongfei, who was unmoved. Guangzhongyang smiled awkwardly when he saw this, but didn't say much. In all the previous actions, as long as it was Guangzhongyang's sword, Guangzhongfei did not participate in it. He seemed to be a little disgusted and flew alone. After a while, everyone came to the edge of the bone burial ground. A few steps further, there was a bottomless canyon and an abyss that could swallow everything. The bone burial ground is indeed a bit strange. As soon as you get close to it, it gives people an extremely depressing feeling. The dark canyon seems to be full of negative emotions such as despair. The death armor on Chen Luo appeared on its own initiative, which was enough to explain a lot of things. Glancing at the armor of death on his body, Chen Luo thought to himself, this place is indeed not simple. Even before entering it, there is already extremely powerful power to confuse people's minds. Fortunately, I have the armor of death, which is okay. Guangzhongyang and the others are dead souls. Boss, do we really want to go down? Guangzhongyang asked, and the demon-slaying sword behind him had been put away by him. Chen Luo nodded slightly. Is it possible to enjoy the scenery here? Guangzhongyang frowned slightly. There is something very wrong with this place. If we really want to enter it, we must find another way. My demon-slaying sword cannot fly inside. If we force it, big problems may occur. Trash. Guangzhongfei said coldly. Guangzhongyang. Guangzhongfei waved his hand, and the bloody demon-slaying sword appeared in his hand. At the same time, the 9 best-matched soul rings slowly rose from Guangzhongfei's feet. His 7th soul ring suddenly lit up, and the bloody sword appeared in his hand. The demon-slaying sword instantly became extremely huge. Come up, take my seat. Guangzhongfei said calmly. Guangzhongyang was a little surprised. Brother, your sword can also fly. Guangzhongfei said calmly, if you, a loser, can do it, why can't I? Guangzhongyang. Arriving at the burial ground, everyone noticed something was wrong, but everyone still stepped on Guangzhongfei's demon-slaying sword without fear. Under the control of Guangzhongfei, the demon-slaying sword carried everyone flying towards the abyss. In fact, the main thing to go to the burial ground is Chen Luo's guidance. As long as Chen Luo is determined to do something, all the undead will obey and follow him unconditionally. The reason why Chen Luo is so obsessed with the bone burial ground, knowing that there may be immeasurable dangers in the bone burial ground, and still forcing his way in, is mainly due to 2 reasons. First, Chen Luo felt that the bone burial ground had enough benefits to reap, and what he needed most to awaken his special ability was a powerful corpse. Beside the lake in the center of the Star Dao forest, the Azure Bull Python had already made it very clear that the soul beasts in the burial place were relatively powerful soul beasts, and they were all dying soul beasts. Aren't those soul beasts the best materials for Chen Luo to wake up? There were no soul beasts in a large area around the bone burial ground. When he came to the bone burial ground, Chen Luo not only sensed the powerful power that could confuse the mind, but also sensed extremely rich soul energy. Apart from anything else, Chen Luo's entry into the bone burial ground was equivalent to entering a treasured land for cultivation, at least to him. Secondly, Chen Luo received another special task, special mission, bone burial ground, mission content, enter the bone burial ground and survive for 3 days. Mission tips, those disappearing corpses just exist in another way. They think death is relief, but in fact it is a more painful torture. They were deceived, they are very angry, and they want to tear everything apart. When Chen Luo learned about the existence of the bone burial ground from Xia Wu, he received the special mission of the bone burial ground. Just by looking at the mission content and mission prompts, Chen Luo knew that this bone burial ground was very dangerous. The word how many days to survive has never appeared in the special tasks that Chen Luo accepted before. In ordinary sign-in tasks, how many days do you need to stay in the killing city when you sign in? The tasks are completely 2 concepts, one is playing with life, the other is just playing with heartbeat. The mission prompts were also more informative and detailed than before, except for the words extremely dangerous written on them. Later, Chen Luo also felt the unusualness of the bone burial ground from the description of the Azure Bull Python, until he and the undead arrived and truly felt the strange dangers there. Just coming to the side, it's like an invisible big hand wants to push you in. The danger inside can be imagined. However, no matter how dangerous it is, Chen Luo is not afraid. He knows that danger corresponds to generous rewards. Special tasks have the chance to obtain the best rewards, and even the most ordinary rewards are enough. Besides, the greatest rewards are often gained during the adventure. Chen Luo was looking for a place to gain experience because he wanted to gain something to improve himself. With a burial place right in front of him, he had no reason not to go. This is not the first time he has done something like dancing on the tip of a knife. The bone burial ground is very deep. Ever since Chen Luo and the others entered it, they have been submerged in darkness. Even if Gong's Hongfei inspired his momentum and created a red light, it could only illuminate a small part, and the light was still like it is constantly being swallowed by darkness. Fortunately, the darkness here does not hinder the extension of the induction power. Even if the eyes cannot see too far, Chen Luo and the others can still use their own perception to detect some situations ahead. Even if it is still very limited, it is still wider than what the eyes can see. Too much? I don't know how long it took, but Chen Luo's eyes suddenly lit up without any warning. It took a while before they fully adapted to stepping out of the darkness into the light. After his vision recovered, he saw a strange and bizarre world in front of him. Chapter 184 The World Behind the Door. The white light is the main body, spreading endlessly, and colorful doors stand in this vast white world, dazzlingly colorful. Through those colorful doors, you can vaguely see the world behind the doors. There are deserts, seas, cliffs and other environments. It seems that you can reach those places just by passing through the doors. The visual impact is so strong that it makes you dizzy for a while, as if countless information is forcefully poured into your mind, without giving you the slightest chance to prepare, and you cannot choose to refuse. It took a while for Chen Luo to gradually adapt, but just when he did, a door to a world like a desert suddenly opened, and then an invisible force sent Chen Luo's package directly in. The undead souls who came here with Chen Luo also encountered the same situation. Doors opened one after another, and invisible forces forced them in. They also want to resist, but they have no ability to resist. Only Gong's Hongfei and Hei Curse, whose strength had reached the peak Douluo level, barely changed their endings after exploding their whole body's strength. Originally, they corresponded to volcanoes and seas, but they were forcibly changed to deserts. In the end, they could not avoid entering the world behind the door, and entered the same door with Chen Luo. This was the best ending they could strive for. Call. A strong wind suddenly rose in the desert, causing sand and rocks to fly. 3 figures appeared on the desert one after another. They were Chen Luo, Guang's Hongfei and Heiju. What is going on? Is the bone burial ground a door to another world, or a teleportation circle? Arriving in the desert, Chen Luo frowned immediately. He looked around and saw nothing but yellow sand. In the distance, there is a vague valley, and only its outline can be seen. The sun is shining brightly here, and there are dark clouds over there. From a distance, it looks like a huge gray hand pressing down on the valley. Boss, do you feel an inexplicable sense of familiarity? Black Curse suddenly said. Chen Luo nodded lightly. It's similar to the experience we had in Death Valley before. To go to the Valley of Death, you must first enter the illusion, then face the white mist, and then go to another world. In this burial ground, you have also entered a bizarre world, but here you are faced with colorful doors, but the result is the same, leading to another world. The general situation of Death Valley and the burial ground is similar, but some details are different. No matter how the Valley of Death changes, it will always be based on the Forest of Death, and this bone burial ground seems to be composed of countless environments. Just like the mist encountered in the Valley of Death, Chen Luo was still separated from the undead, without any chance or ability to resist. Fortunately, Guang's Hongfei and Heiju were powerful and forcibly changed the result, otherwise Chen Luo would have been killed again. You have to fight alone until the end. Different from the situation in the Valley of Death, Chen Luo could clearly sense the presence of Gong's Hongyang and the others, and they were very close to each other, but they couldn't get together. Boss, I'll try to use the teleportation circle to bring them back. Black Curse said. Chen Luo nodded. It would be great to be able to meet up. If I had known this would be the case, I would have taken them all into the necromantic space. Chen Luo's connection with the death bracelet has not been severed. He can summon the Hell Spider and the King of Earth at any time. If he had taken Gong's Hongyang and the others into the necromancer space in advance, even if the space in the necromancer space was limited, he would be able to keep 2 more necromancers by his side. Chen Luo had witnessed Black Curse's special teleportation ability. They were separated in the Valley of Death before, and Black Curse used that special ability to reunite everyone. After saying the Black Curse, he immediately used the teleportation circle, but the final result was a failure. The teleportation circle stopped automatically when it was running halfway through. Fortunately, the teleportation circle would not cause huge backlash against the Black Curse, but it would have some negative effects, and the undead were immune to the negative effects. The Black Curse said, "Boss, we failed." Chen Luo nodded lightly. "If I failed, forget it. It's enough to have you by my side. There are also the Hell Demon Spider and the King of the Earth. Their strength is relatively weak, but they can be used to some extent. When the time comes, they can be used when you find them. Call them out too." Black Curse nodded, and then said, "Then Gong's Hongyang and the others." Chen Luo said, "I can sense their presence. It's okay. Even if something happens, we can't do anything." "That's right." Black Curse nodded. The Bone Burial Ground and the Valley of Death still have many things in common. No wonder it gives us a familiar feeling. There is a valley in front of us. Maybe that is the real entrance to the Bone Burial Ground. As long as we enter it, we have the opportunity to meet up with Gong's Hongyang and the others and arrive at the real burial place. Chen Luo said. Gong's Hongfei had been silent all this time, but now he had activated his martial spirit, and the bloody demon-slaying sword appeared in his hand. Pushing the demon-slaying sword forward, Gong's Hongfei's seventh soul ring suddenly lit up, and the demon-slaying sword enlarged and floated in front of Chen Luo and others. Gong's Hongfei said, "Let's go." This level 97 peak Douluo expert prefers to take action rather than talk about plans. Chen Luo and Heiju followed Gong's Hongfei onto the demon-slaying sword. Under Gong's Hongfei's control, the demon-slaying sword flew towards the distant valley at an extremely fast speed. The shape of Gong's Hongfei's demon-slaying sword is similar to Gong's Hongyang's demon-slaying sword, except that the lines on the sword are different, and the overall color is bloody, filled with terrifying evil aura. This was not the first time that Chen Luo came upon Gong's Hongfei's demon-slaying sword. No matter how fast the demon-slaying sword flew, he could still hold it steady. Not to mention the Black Curse, with strong strength as support, it is not a problem to stabilize the body. The group of 3 people quickly arrived at the entrance of the valley, and before they arrived at their destination, the biting cold air surged out of the valley. Even though Gong's Hongfei immediately used the bloody aura to block, he still could not avoid the cold air. The feeling of falling into an ice cellar makes people tremble slightly for a while. The coldness of the body is secondary, the main thing is that the soul seems to be wrapped in endless chill. The temperature in the desert is still very high. Chen Luo and the others could see the heat wave rolling on the way here. The terrifying high temperature was like an invisible big mouth, constantly devouring the soul power in their bodies. If they did not use their soul power to stop it, the high temperature will be unbearable for even a minute. This place is like a huge oven. The situation in front of me was like a freezer placed in an oven. It was hot when it should be hot and cold when it was supposed to be. It was very strange. In addition to the most direct feeling of coldness, Chen Luo also found with some horror that his connection with the undead souls had instantly weakened. He Curse and Gong's Hongfei who were around him were fine, but Gong's Hongfei who was far away in a different world, the connection between Yang and others is so weak that even if you don't use your heart to sense it, you can't sense their presence. This is almost consistent with the situation in Death Valley. Chen Luo even had a hunch that if Black Curse and Gong's Hongfei were far away from him, it might be difficult for him to sense them, even if they were in the same place as him. Heiju and Gong's Hongfei also noticed something was wrong and moved closer to Chen Luo almost at the same time. Chapter 185. Demonic Insect. Black Curse walked in front, Gong's Hongfei walked behind, protecting Chen Luo in the middle, and the 3 of them walked slowly into the valley. Chen Luo had activated his martial spirit at this time, holding the Death's Scythe, wearing the Death's armor, and stepping on the Death's boots, and was fully prepared for battle. They encountered no danger on the way to the entrance of the valley. Obviously, all dangers were hidden in the valley. Then he encountered the situation he encountered last time in the Valley of Death. The connection with the undead became weaker and weaker, and he was almost completely isolated. This was even more bad news, so Chen Luo had to fight. Be alert and ready to face any possibility at any time. The contact with the undead will be cut off. It is not impossible for Gong's Hongfei and the others to disappear at any time. Even with the protection of Gong's Hongfei and the Black Curse, Chen Luo does not think that he is absolutely safe. In the valley, there are strange stones of various shapes everywhere, and there are extremely steep cliffs on both sides, giving people an extremely depressing and urgent feeling. Outside the valley, Chen Luo and the others had already experienced the biting cold air, but now that they walked into the valley, they couldn't feel it at all. They didn't even feel half cold, as if they were back in the hot desert. The extremely hot breath continued to consume the soul power of Chen Luo and others. Just like in the desert, people would simply not be able to bear it if they didn't use their soul power to isolate themselves from the high temperature. Even if they are as strong as Gong's Hongfei and Black Curse, they can't stand it at all. This is no longer a high temperature in the ordinary sense, as if it is burning the human soul. It was in sharp contrast to the previous piercing feeling of my soul being enveloped in cold air. Even if Chen Luo used his soul power, he couldn't completely isolate the feeling. His limbs were constantly burning and aching, and there was a vague tingling sensation on his skin. His blood seemed to be boiling. Fortunately, Chen Luo was still at this level tolerance range. Looking at the frowning Gong's Hongfei and the Black Curse holding the sword tightly, Chen Luo couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Even the peak Douluo seems a little uncomfortable. How terrifying this place is. Fortunately, I have the death technique, and my physique is extremely special. Otherwise, if anyone else comes in, they will immediately be unable to hold on and die suddenly on the spot on this special world. Chen Luo said nothing. Guang's Hongfei and Heiju both remained silent, and the three of them kept moving forward. At the beginning of the journey, Chen Luo and the others did not see any weird things, but as they continued to go deeper, they gradually discovered some incomplete skeletons, some without heads, some with severed arms and legs, and some with broken bones. There was only a few ribs left in the corner. It can be seen from those huge skeletons that the owners of these bones are surrounded by relatively powerful soul beasts. Chen Luo recognized some soul beasts from some relatively complete skeletons and simply judged the age of those soul beasts. The lowest ones were 5 years old. Are these soul beasts like us, entering the abyss of the boneyard and coming here? Doubts arose in Chen Luo's heart, and then he quickly gave up the idea. It's hard to say. Maybe everything we are encountering now is an extremely real illusion. We encountered such a routine before in the Valley of Death. This bone burial ground has so many things in common with the Valley of Death, and illusions and the like should also be arranged. It is impossible for us to really come to the desert. In order to verify his thoughts, Chen Luo also specifically asked experts in this field, Black Curse, are we in an illusion now? Black Curse made an awkward laugh. Boss, I can't judge, this place is too weird. It seems that experts are not omnipotent. The last time he was in the Valley of Death, Black Curse said a lot about the illusion. Although it didn't help much in the end, it at least gave Chen Luo some mental preparation. This time, Black Curse couldn't tell whether this was the real world or an illusion. You can only take one step at a time, and it's useless to think too much. Anyway, the requirement of the mission is to survive in the bone burial ground for 3 days. As long as you enter the abyss of the bone burial ground, the survival time should be recorded. It's just that Chen Luo didn't come to the bone burial ground simply for the mission. If it was just to complete the task, Chen Luo could have found a safer place and let Take Curse and Gong's Hongfei protect him, and he could just practice here for 3 days. Anyway, the energy in this place is quite strong, although it is not as good as that in Death Valley. Chen Luo also has other purposes, as long as everyone wants to get more benefits. They have all arrived at the bone burial ground, and there are 2 peak Douluo guarding them. Of course, they have to explore the bone burial ground carefully. The more dangerous the place, the more treasures there are. Chen Luo has already concluded that gained experience. There is danger ahead. After advancing for a while, Guang's Hongfei and Heiju said in unison, and powerful momentum burst out from them. Chen Luo immediately stopped and was ready to fight. Boom! The ground in front suddenly sunk into a large area, which was bottomless, and then various strange sounds came from it. The sound was like the chirping of countless insects, and also like the sound of extremely dense footsteps. The sound lasted for a short time, so short that Chen Luo couldn't react, and he saw a large group of strange creatures as big as bathtubs crawling out of the depression. The strange creature has a spider-like body, its whole body is black, and it has a long tail stinger. If it weren't for the 2 huge pincers growing in front of them, it would look like a scorpion. It's a demon insect, a low-level creature from hell. How come it appears here? As soon as he saw those strange creatures, Black Curse immediately called out their names. Guangzhonggang had already started to take action at this time, swung the demon-slaying sword in his hand, and without releasing his soul skills, he had an extremely powerful blood-colored sword blade that slashed at those demonic insects. Boom! When the bloody sword blade touched those demonic insects, a violent explosion occurred instantly. For a moment, the corpses of the demonic insects were flying in the valley, emitting a fishy and unpleasant smell. This is the strength of the peak Douluo. Those demonic insects have the strength of 3-year-old soul beasts, but they are so vulnerable to Guangzhongfei's demon-slaying sword. If you can't kill them all, you can only block the exit. Black Curse said in a deep voice. I saw Black Curse holding a bin knife and swinging it hard on the ground. Suddenly, black formations spread out, instantly covering the big hole in front. Then I saw those black formations blooming with dazzling light and exploding. Boom! The large piece of land collapsed directly, and the rubble directly flooded the huge cave. However, the movement of the demonic insects did not stop there. Chapter 186 One sword overcomes all difficulties. The sound coming from the underground is getting louder and louder, as if there are countless demonic insects piled up together. The sound of excessive squeezing and shattering makes people feel a little creepy after listening to it. At the same time as those sounds are heard, the gravel that buried the cave is being crushed. Squeeze it out bit by bit. On top of the gravel, there was a special magic circle with a black curse as a suppressor, but it still could not stop the crazy momentum of those demonic insects. The black magic circle soon began to twist and then burst. The gravel was squeezed away, and the black magic circle was pushed away. Curse groaned and took a step back. The demonic insects attacked again, and Guangzhongfei waved the demon-slaying sword to eliminate them all again. But soon, new demonic insects will appear. They seem to be endless. Once a batch dies, a new batch will appear immediately. Even if the first batch moves slowly, they will be squeezed by the ones behind. Pressed and trampled, they looked like beasts in a cage, finally waiting for the day of release and freedom. So crazy. Guangzhongfei seemed very calm when facing those demonic insects. At first, he still waved the demon-slaying sword to kill those demonic insects, but gradually, Guangzhongfei levitated the demon-slaying sword in front of him, letting the demon-slaying sword automatically kill demonic insects, with a posture of killing as many as they come. We must find a way to completely deal with them, otherwise it won't be easy to continue killing them like this. Chen Luo thought to himself. Chen Luo had just seen the scene where the demonic insects rushed out again after being suppressed by the black curse, and he noticed one detail. That is, the demonic insects seemed unable to destroy other environments here. Even if they kept using corpses to break away the rubble and destroy the black curse's magic circle, they did not find another way out. With the strength of the demonic insect, it was possible to find another way to rush out, but in the end, such a scene did not occur. As long as the exit can be completely sealed, the demonic insects can be completely eliminated. While Chen Luo was thinking, Guangzhongfei had already taken action. He seemed to be tired of killing the demonic insects. He controlled the demon-slaying sword to the entrance of the cave where the demonic insects appeared, and then waved his hand. The demon-slaying sword carried extremely terrifying power. Go straight into the cave. The bloody aura surged out from the demon-slaying sword, killing all the demonic insects it encountered. Finally, a violent explosion occurred deep underground. The roar came from the underground, and the entire valley followed. It shook. Guangzhongfei opened his hand, and the demon-slaying sword quietly appeared in his hand, as if nothing happened. It has been solved. Guangzhongfei said calmly. Chen Luo glanced at Guangzhongfei in surprise. Senior, what happened just now? Guangzhongfei said calmly, down below is their nest. I directly blew up their nest and eliminated all the demonic insects at once. Awesome, senior. Chen Luo smiled in admiration. While he was still thinking about how to block the demonic insects from coming out, Guangzhongfei directly chose to find the birthplace of the demonic insects and eliminate them all at once. This was the gap. The main reason is that Chen Luo is not as powerful as Guangzhongfei. If Guangzhongfei and Heiju are not by his side, it will be very difficult for him to deal with these demonic insects alone. These demonic insects are actually equivalent to 3 soul beasts. Year level strength. If there were 1 or 2 demonic insects, Chen Luo could barely deal with them, but when the number increased, it would be very difficult, and in the end he could only choose to run away. Sure enough, it's much more comfortable to have thighs next to you. When Guangzhongfei took action just now, He Curse stood beside Chen Luo and watched silently. This was not because He Curse didn't want to take action, but because Gong's Hongfei's power alone was enough. If Black Curse is faced alone, he can still easily deal with all the demonic insects. Previously, Black Curse used a special magic circle to seal the exit as a simple attempt without using all his strength. Otherwise, even if those demonic insects were crushed into powder, they would not be able to attack them come out. Seeing that the matter had been completely resolved, Black Curse waved his sword, and the black magic circle that had appeared before appeared again. A special force pulled the gravel to fill the hole again. It was quite neat. It was for obsessive-compulsive disorder, not obsessive-compulsive disorder. You will feel comfortable after watching it. I have strengthened the magic circle. If the situation changes, I will get the response immediately and have enough time to react. Black Curse said. Chen Luo nodded slightly. Well, be careful when sailing the 10,000-year ship. After passing the place where a large hole suddenly collapsed and formed, Chen Luo and his 3 others continued to move forward. I don't know if this is a burial place for bones. Why, the deeper we go here, the weaker our connection with Gong's Hongyang and the others becomes. Chen Luo looked around at the surrounding environment. There were cliffs on both sides and a spacious corridor in the middle. Various gravels could often be seen in the corridor. Looking up, he was shrouded in gray. Strangely enough, although there is no sunlight, and it is still very gloomy above the valley, there is enough light in the valley, which does not affect people's vision at all, and it is not clear where the light comes from. As Chen Luo and the others continued to go deeper, they could vaguely see some crystal stones shining with a faint light on the cliff. At present, those crystal stones were just beautiful and had no other special features. If they were used to illuminate, lighting up this valley is somewhat of a joke. In fact, when we were dealing with the demonic insects just now, we could summon the hell demonic spider and the king of the earth. They both have the ability to devour and increase their strength. Those demonic insects are undoubtedly a great tonic for them. Chen Luo thought to himself, and then tried to contact the Hell Spider Earth King in the necromantic space. The Hell Spider and the Earth King are still in the state of cultivation. Since the last time they went to the Valley of Death, the Hell Spider and the Earth King have been practicing in seclusion, and their strength has been steadily improving. It seems that they won't be able to finish their training for a while. If the current trend continues, the Hell Spider's strength will reach at least the 6-year level after it finishes its training, and the Earth King will be able to reach the 4-year level. It's really far beyond expectations. The Valley of Death and his team have improved them too much. It's a pity that the Nightmare Centipede is relatively short-lived, otherwise it should be about the same strength as the King of the Earth by now. I hope that the Hell Demon Spider and the King of Earth can finish their training as soon as possible and strive to reap a lot of benefits from this bone burial ground. I don't know what will happen when they grow to the 10-year level, and whether they also have the ability to the possibility of becoming a human being, and whether the strength will exist after becoming a human being. After experiencing the demonic insects, Chen Luo and the others soon came to a large pile of rocks. They didn't know how long they walked before they walked out, and then they came to a pink forest. In addition to the weird color, the woods are also covered with long vines covered with barbs. The color of the vines is also pink. The bones of some monsters can be vaguely seen on the vines. Chapter 187 Stone Steel. If you think about it with your thighs, you can guess that the barbs on those pink vines are poisonous. If you want to walk through this pink forest, you cannot avoid those long pink vines. In order to prevent accidents from happening, the best way is to nip all accidents in the cradle. Chen Luo held the death side and took a step forward. The second soul ring on his body suddenly lit up, and his second soul skill, Raging Flame, was activated. The death scythe swung down, and the black flames roared towards the pink vines, engulfing them all in an instant. Chen Luo's black flames were relatively powerful. The long pink vines were burned up in the flames, and even some pink trees were affected and burned to ashes. Although the flames are powerful, the effective range of the skill is limited after all. Chen Luo could only use the flames to open the way. If he used black flames to attack, the speed might be faster, but it was not necessary. Following Chen Luo's lead, the 3 of them quickly entered the depths of the pink forest. The pink forest is not big, and after walking a short distance, the exit is already vaguely visible. Chen Luo's flames are still being released, and they are becoming more frequent, because the pink vines in the pink forest are extremely dense, and the deeper you go, the more terrifying the number becomes, especially on the way out of the pink forest, where the flames are only able to make a 1-meter path. Neither Gong Zhongfei nor He Ju had any intention of taking action. Chen Luo took the initiative to open the road. Things must start and end. They believed that Chen Luo had the strength to lead them out of here. The effect of the flames was getting worse and worse, and Chen Luo started to use Black Flame Impact, but the effect of the Black Flame Impact was only slightly better than that of the flames. Whether it is the Fierce Flames or the Black Flame Impact, they are all accompanied by the special effects of Chen Luo's first soul skill, Poison Flame. Those black flames are extremely corrosive and can continue to burn, but in the end they still cannot completely burn those pink vines. When burned to a certain extent, the black flames will automatically extinguish. Chen Luo is only at the Soul King level now, and has only 5 soul skills in total. Among them, the third soul skill, Shadow Binding, is a harmless control skill that obviously cannot be used on the pink vines. I have no choice but to use the 5th soul skill. I didn't expect that the first time I used the 5th soul skill, the target would be these long pink vines. Chen Luo held the death scythe tightly, and the 5th soul ring on his body shone with an extremely deep light. At the same time, an extremely powerful black flame condensed on the blade of the death scythe, which was vaguely visible in the black flame. Deep blue color. Crazy electric explosion flame slash. The name of Chen Luo's 5th soul skill was chosen by Chen Luo himself, which is very cool. After letting out a low cry in his heart, Chen Luo swung the death scythe forward with all his strength. The moment the death scythe fell, the powerful black flame attached to the death scythe suddenly turned into a moon blade and shot towards the long pink vine in front of it. Boom! Before it even touched the pink vine, the moon blade turned into black flames exploded immediately. In addition to the extremely powerful explosion power, countless fire snakes raged out, engulfing everything around them crazily. There was still a faint hint of dark blue in the flames, and after the black flame show ended, there was another violent explosion. Boom! The dark blue hidden in the black flames instantly erupted and turned into thunder and lightning, carrying terrifying power. It instantly spread to all the pink vines and exploded. All the pink vines turned into powder in an instant under the raging thunder and lightning. At this point, all obstacles ahead have finally been cleared. After seeing Chen Luo unleash his 5th soul skill, Crazy Electric Explosion and Fire Slash, both Gong Zhongfei and He Ju's eyes lit up. Even Chen Luo himself was shocked. Boss, this is your 5th soul skill. It's a little too powerful. It feels even more powerful than the ordinary 6th soul skill and 8th soul skill. Black Curse said. Basically, the power of soul skills is that the later soul rings provide stronger soul skills. The main reason is that the age of the soul ring will only get higher and higher. The soul skills provided by the soul ring with higher age are of course more powerful. Period. It is not ruled out that there will be a few idiots who can absorb more powerful soul rings, but in the end they only absorb a rubbish soul ring. The soul skills obtained are of course incomparable. Chen Luo smiled and nodded. I think it's pretty strong too. After all, it's provided by a 5-year-old soul ring. If it didn't have such an effect, there would be suspicions of the soul ring's age being faked. Gong Zhongfei said, this should not be your original 5th soul skill. I can detect 2 completely different powers, but they are blended together with an extremely delicate balance. Chen Luo nodded lightly. Senior's guess is correct. My original 5th soul skill only had the lightning effect. I added the flame effect myself. It should be regarded as a self-created soul skill. I mixed flames and thunder and lightning together to form extremely explosive energy, and that's how the scene just happened. Gong Zhongfei affirmed, very good. Being able to get positive comments from the 2-peak Douluo, Chen Luo felt somewhat elated. After seeing the effects of his soul skills, Chen Luo was also very satisfied with his enhanced 5th soul skill. Finally, all the pink vines were resolved, and Chen Luo and the others successfully left the pink forest. Whether it was the pink forest that he had just experienced or the rocky forest that he passed earlier, they all gave Chen Luo a very strange feeling. After leaving the pink forest, Chen Luo and his party encountered no further obstacles on their way, and soon arrived at a large open space. In the open space, there stood a stone tablet half a man tall, with some strange words carved on it. Chen Luo and the others walked up to the stone tablet. Even Black Curse, who had lived for many years, could not understand the words on the stone tablet. Neither did Gong Zhongfei, and Chen Luo was certainly no exception. Although he didn't recognize it, the stone tablet in front of him gave Chen Luo an inexplicable sense of familiarity. As if thinking of something, Chen Luo immediately looked at the death bracelet on his wrist. No wonder there is a sense of familiarity. The special words on the stone tablet are somewhat similar to some of the special lines on the death bracelet. In fact, it seems more appropriate to describe the things carved on the stone tablets in terms of formations. While Chen Luo and the others were staring at the stone tablet, a burst of pink mist slowly floated from behind them. Further away, the sound of rolling boulders was heard. No matter what kind of vision it was, it attracted Chen Luo's attention. Chen Luo and the others immediately turned around, and the first thing they saw was the pink mist. Black Curse was the first to speak, that is the medium that triggers the illusion. After speaking, Black Curse took the initiative to step forward, waving the sword in his hand, and formations formed in midair, as if he wanted to complete a huge formation and resolve the pink mist. Boom! 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 A dull sound came from further away, as if a giant thing was constantly walking towards Chen Luo and the others. Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei looked at each other, and both of them were ready to fight. Chapter 188 The Black Curse Special. As soon as Chen Luo saw the pink mist, he immediately thought of the pink forest they passed through before. The pink mist in front of me most likely appeared and drifted over from there. The pink forest looked very strange at first sight. Hearing what Black Curse just said, the pink mist is the medium that triggers the illusion. Seeing Black Curse react like that is obviously very dangerous. If I had known earlier, I would have burned the entire pink forest. It would have just taken a while. But there's no telling. Even if the pink forest is destroyed, the pink mist might still appear. This is the same as the demonic insects we experienced before. It is inevitable. What is coming will eventually come. Only after they arrive, can we find a way to deal with them all. Black Curse seems to be fond of formation attacks now, which seems to have started after he evolved using the Death Emblem Hellbringer. The original strength of Black Curse was formations and illusions. Although the others were also powerful, they were far inferior to these two. In mid-air, the formation created by the Black Curse was gradually perfected, and now it was waiting for the pink mist to float in. And just after the formation of the Black Curse was completed, the pink mist actually stopped in mid-air. After noticing this abnormality, Black Curse stepped forward decisively. Boss, Gong Zhongfei, you guys take a few steps back. Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei immediately followed suit, and Black Curse rushed straight into the pink mist. At the same time, the huge black magic circle created by the Black Curse also flew in. The pink mist was very thick and swallowed up the Black Curse in an instant, but it seemed unable to swallow up the black magic circle, and you could vaguely see the pink mist slowly being absorbed by the black magic circle. In the pink mist, a faint flash of black light was seen, and then several huge figures appeared in the pink mist. Gong Zhongfei said at this time, the pink mist is very dangerous to us, but it has unimaginable benefits for Black Curse. He seemed to have summoned something just now, and he can enjoy the pink mist together. It's just that the pink mist is not a treasure delivered to the door. Although Black Curse can absorb it, it is estimated that it will have to endure a lot of pain. As Black Curse himself said, the pink mist is the triggering medium of the illusion. Presumably Black Curse we are in an illusion now. Whether he can ascend in the illusion or fall in the illusion depends on Black Curse himself. You'd better pay attention to the changes in his breath at all times. If anything goes wrong, tell me immediately. I can still rescue him. It doesn't matter if he will suffer some damage because of this. He can recover slowly in your special space, but it would be a pity if he died because of this. While Gong Zhongfei was talking, the pink mist was approaching Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei. After spreading to a certain distance, it shrank back. The distance was just a few steps in front of Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei. The roar from further away never stopped, and the sound seemed to be getting closer and closer to Chen Luo and the others. Okay, senior, I will tell you immediately if anything happens to the Black Curse. Chen Luo, but I believe in Black Curse's strength more. Illusion is what he is best at? I hope to get more benefits. Gong Zhongfei nodded slightly. Get ready to fight. I'll leave the monsters to you later. Okay. Chen Luo agreed without any hesitation. The monster Gong Zhongfei refers to is obviously the giant thing coming from afar. Just hearing the footsteps gives people an extremely huge feeling. I don't know what it will be like when you see it. It's very strong, but I believe you can defeat it. This is a rare fighting opportunity. Gong Zhongfei said. Chen Luo nodded. Well, as long as there is an opportunity to fight, don't miss it. Chen Luo has never forgotten to improve his hard power. He can't hide behind his undead all the time. Some things still have to be faced by himself. Only when you have truly fought in one can you gain the most from it. It is very comfortable to hug someone, but you cannot always live in comfort. Boom. 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 The loud noise got closer and closer, and soon it was in the pink mist ahead. The pink mist did not hinder the big man's progress at all. After a while, he walked out of the pink mist and rushed in front of Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei. I saw that it was a stone giant nearly 7 meters tall. His whole body was made of countless stones. He exuded an extremely powerful aura. Judging from the superficial aura, his strength was not weaker than that of a titled Douluo. There is still a little pink mist lingering on the body of the stone giant. Originally, the pink mist could not come to Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei. It was all attracted by the black curse and was being dealt with, but was taken away by the stone giant come over. There was not much pink mist on the stone giant, but it immediately floated towards Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei, enough to swallow up the bodies of Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei. Gong Zhongfei wanted to use his means to block the pink mist. With a wave of his hand, a bloody barrier appeared in front, but it did not stop the pink mist from advancing at all. At the same time, the stone giant did not stop moving, swinging its extremely huge fist towards Gong Zhongfei and Chen Luo. Just looking at the momentum, it seemed that it could smash Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei into meat pies. But Gong Zhongfei is a level 97 peak Douluo after all, so how could he fall into the hands of a monster of this level? Almost as soon as the stone giant took action, Gong Zhongfei immediately raised his hand to control the demon-slaying sword and flew towards the stone giant. The demon-slaying sword was swung in mid-air very casually, and an extremely powerful blood-colored moon blade burst out, striking the stone giant and knocking it back easily. While repelling the stone giant, the demon-slaying sword transformed into several sword shadows. At the same time, Gong Zhongfei's fifth soul ring suddenly lit up, and all the sword shadows flew towards the stone giant, and finally landed on the stone giant. The giant's body released extremely terrifying power, imprisoning the stone giant in place. The stone giant was only equivalent to the strength of a titled Douluo, but he did not really have the strength of a titled Douluo. He had no chance to resist, and was easily controlled by Gong Zhongfei. Even an ordinary titled Douluo could only be manipulated in front of Gong Zhongfei. Gong Zhongfei didn't take too many strikes, knocking him back with one strike and imprisoning him with one strike, for fear that he would kill the stone giant with too many strikes. He had just said that the stone giant was reserved for Chen Luo, and of course he had to preserve the stone giant's condition as much as possible. As for the pink mist floating towards him and others, since he couldn't stop it, he had to stop it. How much stronger can the illusion created by this pink mist be? Chapter 189 A Chance to Fight. The pink mist arrived in front of Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei in an instant, and then completely engulfed them. It didn't have any special smell, it just made Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei feel a little moist. In addition, their eyes turned pink. The pink color faded quickly, and then another scene appeared in front of Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei. They seemed to be back in the pink forest, surrounded by extremely tall pink trees, and between the pink trees, many pink vines were entangled. If you are a girl, you will probably like this kind of girl fan, but in the eyes of Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei, it is as awkward as possible. The pink forest in front of them is countless times larger than the pink forest that Chen Luo and the others passed through before. It can't be seen to the end at a glance, and the trees here, including the vines, all look extremely huge, which is magnified 4 or 5 times. Feel. The pink tree could not be surrounded by more than 10 people, and the pink vine was as thick as a bucket. After getting bigger, the texture of the trees and the barbs on the vines became extremely clear. This must be the illusion caused by the pink mist. It is really real. We have tried our best to avoid entering the illusion, but we still fell into it. Chen Luo sighed. Gong Zhongfei said, I shouldn't have tried to stop you just now. I should have taken you away directly. That pink mist is really weird. It can actually ignore my defense. Chen Luo smiled and said, it's okay. It's good to come and have a look in this illusion. It's the stone giant that appears behind. Don't worry about it. Unless I lift the restriction on it, it will never be able to break through my sword formation in this life. Gong Zhongfei said confidently. Chen Luo nodded lightly. It's okay then. We'll solve it later after we get out of the illusion. Boom. While Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei were talking, a loud noise suddenly came from the pink forest, which instantly attracted the attention of Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei. Could it be a black curse? Chen Luo's eyes suddenly lit up, and he immediately tried to contact the black curse and sense its location. At the same time, he and Gong Zhongfei immediately rushed towards the source of the sound. Those huge pink vines were like nothing in front of Gong Zhongfei. The blood-colored aura burst out, crushing all the pink vines encountered on the way, and forcibly opened a path. Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei were very fast. In just a moment, they arrived at the source of the sound. At this time, Chen Luo didn't even need to sense the existence of the black curse through the connection with the undead, because the curse was in front of him. I saw the black curse grabbing a pink weird monster. The black formations spread quickly on the weird monster, and the structure was completed in an instant. The next second after the construction of the black magic circle was completed, the strange monster collapsed and turned into a wisp of pink mist that floated towards the black curse and was directly absorbed by the black curse. Beside black curse stood the skeleton soldiers, a low-level hell creature, and the hell demon lizard, a high-level hell creature. They could also get a few wisps of pink mist. Chen Luo could very clearly sense that black curse's strength was steadily increasing, and so were the two hell creatures. Seeing the arrival of Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei, black curse was a little surprised. Boss, Gong Zhongfei, why are you here? Did I already set up a magic circle to block the pink mist? Chen Luo said. After you entered the pink mist, a stone giant rushed out, carrying part of the pink mist and came in front of us. Then Senior Gong Zhongfei tried to block it, but failed, and then we entered here too. Hearing this, black curse laughed dumbly. That stone giant must be the one who made the huge noise we heard earlier, right? There's nothing we can do about it. After I enter here, I can no longer interfere with things outside, and I don't even know the appearance of the stone giant. It is normal for it to be able to carry pink mist. My magic circle only has a certain blocking effect, allowing them to get closer to me as much as possible. The destruction of outsiders cannot be stopped. I forgot to mention before that this special thing can only be blocked and solved by the magic circle, and all other methods are ineffective against it. Black Curse smiled. It was also my mistake. I should have set up a protective circle around you in advance. But it doesn't matter. I can send you out now. This illusion is almost under my control. It's just a matter of time before it becomes mine. From Heiju's voice, it could be heard that Heiju was extremely excited and happy at this time. The joy was extremely contagious, and Chen Luo also became happy after hearing this. Is he so strong? Chen Luo laughed. Black Curse laughed and said, it was a lucky fluke. It is precisely because I am about to master this illusion that we can get together here. Otherwise, we will only appear in different illusions. If I completely master the illusion, when you enter the illusion, you should come directly to my side. After all, we have a very special connection. Chen Luo nodded slightly. He was also curious that he and Gong Zhongfei were not separated after entering the illusion. He also wondered if the illusion he encountered in the Valley of Death last time had left a shadow on him, making him subconsciously feel that the illusion will separate everyone. Now it seems that this is the fact. The fantasy world is basically prepared for single players. Those who support group formation are either very powerful or it is just a rubbish fantasy world. There is another possibility, that is, the controller of the illusion is your teammate. Send us out, the stone giant outside has not been solved yet. Chen Luo said with a smile. Black Curse nodded and raised his hand slightly, and two black magic circles appeared at the feet of Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei. I will come out in half an hour at most, and the pink mist should have disappeared by then. Black Curse said with a smile. The black magic circle was activated, a burst of light flashed, and Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei left the illusion. From the perspective of Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei, they only felt a flash of pink in front of their eyes before returning to the valley. The stone giant was still in Gong Zhongfei's sword formation. It could be seen that it had struggled. Many gravels were clearly visible on the ground. The result was obviously a failure. The pink mist in front is still thick, but it has faded a bit compared to before, and there is a faint black aura floating in it, a sign that it is about to be taken down by a black curse. The strength of Black Curse really did not disappoint me. How long has it been since then? He has almost captured the illusion. And it seems that he can also get a lot of benefits from the pink mist. Although his strength has improved, it's limited, but compared to cultivation, it's already improved horribly. Chen Luo looked at the thick pink fog in front of him, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. Then, Chen Luo's eyes fell on the stone giant. It's my turn next. This rare fighting opportunity cannot be missed. I didn't even get enough of the last battle against the ghosts and demons. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190 Stone Thorn. Chen Luo walked forward slowly with a death scythe in hand, and came to the front of the stone giant, keeping a relatively safe distance from the stone giant. When he was about to communicate with Gong Zhongfei and ask Gong Zhongfei to release the stone giant, who knew that Gong Zhongfei had released the stone giant's restraint in advance. The so-called safe distance is actually not safe. Chen Luo also included the time it took for the stone giant to unlock the restriction. The situation in front of him was obviously beyond Chen Luo's expectation, turning the so-called safety into danger. The stone giant, who had regained his freedom, became extremely angry and swung his huge fist towards Chen Luo at a very fast speed. Fortunately, Chen Luo reacted faster. He pulled back and got away from the stone giant, but he was also shaken away by the huge power released by the stone giant's huge fist. "Senior, you don't want to play like this, do you?" Chen Luo said helplessly, covering his aching chest. Gong Zhongfei looked very calm. "It's fair now, Chen Luo." In fact, when Chen Luo approached the stone giant, he had already sensed something was wrong. He was extremely sensitive to energy fluctuations and noticed the energy fluctuations on the stone giant in advance. At that time, Chen Luo also thought about whether it was Gong Zhongfei who had done something, but after thinking about it, he felt that this was unlikely. He also had no habit of checking the true thoughts of his own undead, so he forcibly believed that it was the stone giant himself who had sent the message energy fluctuations. Who knew that Gong Zhongfei actually played this trick on him? Fortunately, he reacted quickly, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. The stone giant's fist was no joke. The strength of the stone giant was extremely close to that of the titled Douluo. No matter how confident Chen Luo was about his own strength and physical fitness, he would not dare to try the stone giant's fist with his physical body. As for what Gong Zhongfei said about fairness, we can also understand it. After all, the stone giant was imprisoned by Gong Zhongfei for a period of time. It is impossible to say that the stone giant's condition has not been affected in any way. The gravel on the ground is the best proof. Although he had escaped the attack of the stone giant just now, he was also affected by the power of the stone giant. Not only his body ached, but the blood and energy in his body surged, and his soul power became a little chaotic. Even with a death spell, he had to take some time to adjust. During this period of time, it is estimated that the stone giant can also complete the adjustment. "Senior, you are too confident in me." Chen Luo sighed. "Even for the sake of so-called fairness, I wouldn't risk my life in case I don't react or make a mistake." Gong Zhongfei said calmly, "I have always believed in my vision, except for that loser Gong Zhonggang." Hearing this, Chen Luo couldn't help but smile inside in his heart. Has Gong Zhonggang become so rotten in the heart of senior Gong Zhongfei? Even if they are not together, he will still be used as a negative teaching material and ridicule education from time to time. A meal, boom. During the conversation between Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei, the stone giant never stopped attacking. He kept waving his fists and hitting Chen Luo, but Chen Luo easily avoided them. Chen Luo's speed has an absolute advantage over giant beings like the stone giant. Even if the soul power in his body is somewhat disordered, his speed will not be affected in any way. Under what Gong Zhongfei said was fair, Chen Luo was quickly recovering his condition. The stone giant's attacks were becoming more and more fierce, and his condition was obviously recovering. Boom. The stone giant landed another heavy punch, and Chen Luo easily dodged it. But what Chen Luo didn't expect was that the stone giant's attack, which seemed to have no bells and whistles as before, actually had special attack effects this time. The moment the stone giant's fist fell, countless stone thorns were instantly lifted from the ground, exactly where Chen Hao retreated. Fortunately, Chen Luo sensed something wrong with the energy in advance and did not use all his strength to retreat. He retained his speed, so he had a little time to react. Otherwise, he will be instantly pierced by the stone thorn. Swinging the death scythe forcefully, Chen Luo forced himself to twist his body in midair. In order to change his retreat route, Chen Luo even used Lian. The second purple soul ring on Chen Luo suddenly lit up, and the flames activated. Black flames burst out from the blade of the death scythe, giving Chen Luo some push. Under the roar of the flames, Chen Luo immediately used the thrust to change his position, and then reluctantly avoided the stone giant's spikes. It was too late and it was so fast. Everything happened in an instant. The terrifying reaction force could not even save Chen Luo. He had to make no mistakes and make all calculations to death. Even if he makes the slightest mistake, Chen Luo will now be hung on the stone thorn. It was another thrilling experience, just a thin line away from death. If it weren't for the fact that the god of death was in his body, Chen Luo would even suspect that he was about to see the god of death. The stone giant also knew how to pursue the victory. Almost a second after Chen Luo avoided its stone thorn, the huge fist fell. Chen Luo could only run away in a hurry, but he was faced with the attack of the stone giant's stone thorn again. The stone giant's attacks were connected perfectly, as if they were endless, until Chen Luo fell. After playing with the heartbeat for several times, Chen Luo gradually got used to the stone giant's attack rhythm and began to slowly look for a breakthrough. At this time, Chen Luo's condition has been restored, but he is a little agitated. Faced with death several times, no one else could calm down. That is to say, Chen Luo often experiences those thrilling moments and is almost numb, otherwise no one else would be able to adjust his mentality so quickly. Boom! The stone giant's fist fell, and the stone thorns rose up. Chen Luo avoided the stone giant's fist and controlled his speed to the extreme. He was just able to avoid the stone giant's fist and the range of its power. At the same time, he would not enter the attack range of the stone giant's stone thorns, which was just the right balance point. The stone giant's attack is already very powerful, but it is a little too simple, and everything is as if it is calculated mechanically and will not change much, so there is such a blind spot. It is difficult for ordinary people to find such a blind spot, let alone grasp it, but Chen Luo is not an ordinary person. Quickly stabilizing his body, Chen Luo sees the slightest gap in the stone giant's attack and immediately attacked the stone giant. You've beaten enough, now it's my turn. Chen Luo already had many wounds on his body, all of which were opened by the stone giant's fist. Even if he was not hit by the stone giant's fist, as long as he was affected by the stone giant's power, his body would feel a tearing sensation until really ripped apart. These wounds were left by Chen Luo's previous search for a breakthrough. It was impossible to survive without paying any price. Chen Luo was already trying his best to stabilize his condition, and the wounds on his body were just minor. With his terrifying body structure, all wounds are already recovering quickly and will be healed in a short time. As long as the injury is not particularly serious, the impact of the force is nothing at all. Chen Luo rushed towards the stone giant, and started with his second soul skill, Raging Flame, which also had the effect of his first soul skill, Poison Flame. Black flames poured down from the death scythe and instantly engulfed the stone giant's body. The high-temperature explosion of the flames and the corrosiveness of the poisonous flames were instantly unleashed. Chapter 191 Explosion. Chen Luo's first soul skill, Poison Flame, also has a toxic effect, but it is obvious that the toxicity has no effect on the stone giant whose body is made of stone. However, the problem is not big. It is already very good if the corrosion effect can have a certain effect. After being burned by the black flames, the stone giant's body, which was entirely composed of gravel, became a little red, and traces of corrosion were clearly visible on the surface. After the red color receded, it was scorched black, and a heat was emanating from the stone giant's body. Chen Luo was the same as the previous stone giant attack. Once he launched the attack, he had no idea of stopping. While the black flames on the stone giant were still burning, Chen Luo swung the death sickle towards the stone giant again. The third black soul ring on Chen Luo suddenly lit up, and the powerful 10,000-year control soul skill shadow binding was activated. Countless black shadows surged out from the death scythe, instantly restraining the stone giant. Chen Luo's shadow restraint has an absolute restraining effect on targets weaker than him. It also has a certain restraining effect on targets stronger than him, but the control time is relatively limited. This time is not enough for Chen Luo. It's enough. After being restrained by the shadow, Chen Luo fired another raging flame at the stone giant, and then immediately retreated. After all, the strength of the stone giant far exceeds the 5-year-old soul beast ghost demon that Chen Luo had faced before in the Star Dao Forest. It is good that the shadow binding can give Chen Luo another chance to attack. He had previously faced off against the ghost. When he was a demon, he only launched 2 attacks. You might say that shadow binding is useless. This soul skill still has a certain effect. It can help Chen Luo perfectly connect soul skills and attacks. If he is against a weaker target, he can handle it very easily. But if shadow binding is very powerful, its role is only to gain more output opportunities for Chen Luo. After Chen Luo and the stone giant pulled away, the stone giant broke away from the shadows on his body in an instant and rushed towards Chen Luo crazily. At this time, the fourth Earth Soul Ring on Chen Luo suddenly lit up. During Chen Luo's retreat, he was already charging up the fourth soul skill, Black Flame Impact, and was just ready to complete it. Several pillars of black flames suddenly rushed out from the ground. If the stone giant did not move, it would only be hit by one pillar of black flames. However, when it moved, it happened to rush into the four pillars of black flames. All of this happened under Chen Luo in the calculation. The black flame pillars have higher temperatures and more explosive energy, and at the same time, those flames also have some characteristics of flames and poisonous flames. Almost instantly, the stone giant's whole body was burned red, and the body made of stone corroded and shattered at a speed visible to the naked eye. The stone giant suddenly let out an extremely miserable roar. In order to save its life, the stone giant automatically shed a large layer of stones from its body. Its body instantly became much smaller and its breath became much weaker. Only then did it get rid of the torture caused by the black flame impact. Chen Luo didn't expect the stone giant to be so decisive. He was currently charging up his fifth soul skill, Crazy Thunder and Flame Slash, and only had a little time left. According to Chen Luo's original calculation, the stone giant would definitely be able to withstand the damage from the black flames, but he would also fall into an extremely weak state afterwards. That would be the best time for him to launch his most powerful soul skill, Crazy Thunder Explosive Flame Slash. Period. Who knows, this stone giant doesn't play according to the routine. Why don't you just say you don't want such a powerful strength? Of course not. That's just a special skill of the stone giant. Under Chen Luo's gaze, the stone giant's body began to grow in size, and its breath was slowly recovering. The stone giant did not pay the price of strength forever, it only temporarily weakened its own state. After suffering the torment of the black flame impact, the stone giant became extremely angry. Regardless of whether its strength had returned to its optimal state, it rushed towards Chen Luo. Chen Luo was still accumulating skills at this time, so of course he couldn't give up. If he gave up now, not only would all his previous efforts be wasted, but he would also suffer some backlash. Crazy Thunder and Flame Slash is strong, but it takes a long time to charge up. Facing the ferocious momentum of the stone giant, Chen Luo could only choose to retreat. At the same time, he had to stabilize the energy changes in his body. There was no room for any mistakes during the soul skill charging period. After the stone giant's body became smaller, his speed became much faster, which put tremendous pressure on Chen Luo. Fortunately, this pressure did not last long. The stone giant's body recovered very quickly. After a while, it returned to its original behemoth appearance, and its speed dropped instantly. At this time, Chen Luo's Crazy Thunder Explosive Flame Slash was also ready. Chen Luo grasped the death scythe tightly. Black flames suddenly burst out from the death scythe, and a hint of dark blue was faintly visible in the flames. Chen Luo used all his strength to swing down the death scythe, and the black flame instantly turned into a black flame moon blade and flew towards the stone giant. The stone giant was already charging forward and had no time to dodge Chen Luo's attack. In an instant, the stone giant collided with a black flame moon blade, causing a loud explosion. Boom! It was an extremely violent explosion, and the concentrated explosive energy in the black flames was released at the same time, like countless bombs detonating at the same time. After the black flames, dark blue raged, and between the flashes of lightning, there was another terrifying explosion. Boom! Most of the gravel on the stone giant's body turned into powder and flew in the air. For a while, a large space around the stone giant was covered in dust. After the dust settled, the extremely miserable appearance of the stone giant was revealed. After 2 consecutive explosions, the stone giant's body was shattered into pieces. The incomplete body was covered with charred black, and many cracks were clearly visible, as if the rest of its body would also be shattered. The stone giant's aura had changed. Very weak. However, the stone giant still did not fall. Roar. The stone giant roared in anger, or perhaps because his body was too weak. The roar of the stone giant seemed a bit low and depressing, which further showed the feeling of extreme anger. Chen Luo could only watch silently, unable to launch any more attacks for the time being. After releasing the crazy thunder and flame slash, Chen Luo fell into a brief period of weakness, relying on the crazy operation of the death technique to absorb the energy of heaven and earth to replenish his body. The power of the crazy thunder flame slash can be seen. Chen Luo is only at the Soul King level now. Even with a bonus of immortality, he will not be able to survive as a Soul Saint, and he can severely damage the stone giant who is close to the title Douluo level. Such a powerful soul skill naturally has many side effects. Chen Luo was simply in a weak stage, which was already very rare. Even if others mastered this soul skill, it would probably be difficult to use it, and even if it was used, it would cost half of his life. Crazy thunder and flame slash requires terrifying soul power support, extremely precise control energy, and an extremely strong body, all three of which are indispensable. During the charging period of the crazy thunder flame slash, all the energy is condensed into the martial spirit through the user's body. An ordinary body cannot withstand such a powerful energy transition. Only Chen Luo can do it. Thanks to the specialness of the martial spirit and the tempering of the death law, Chen Luo's body was as strong as his own martial spirit, so he was able to create so many miracles. After the stone giant roared, his body shone with a faint earthy yellow light. Its body did not recover, but Chen Luo felt an extremely terrifying aura. Chapter 192 Low Configuration Version of Earth Exploding Star. While Chen Luo was fighting the stone giant, the pink mist on the other side gradually dissipated, and finally disappeared completely, but the black curse was nowhere to be seen. It wasn't until a black magic circle appeared next to Gong's Hongfei that the figure of black curse quietly emerged. He has become a lot stronger again. Gong's Hongfei said calmly, his eyes always staying on Chen Luo and the stone giant. Black curse smiled slightly. Good luck. I also want to be as lucky as you. Gong's Hongfei smiled lightly. You are really good at joking. With your current strength, luck is no longer important. Black Curse said with a smile. Black Curse's gaze has also shifted to Chen Luo and the stone giant, but compared to Gong's Hongfei's calmness, Black Curse's mood swings are slightly larger. This big guy's strength is not weak. It's a pity that he met our boss. Our boss is really strong. Black Curse sighed. The Black Curse was not on the battlefield before, but the battle scene can be roughly deduced from the clues of the battle. At least there will be no mistakes in judging the strength. He is also lucky. Gong's Hongfei said. Black Curse smiled. Those so-called lucks were all gained by his life in the past, and he is still doing so in exchange for his life now. That big guy's strength is almost close to that of a title Douluo. Which Soul King dares to challenge a title Douluo level existence? It's not a title Douluo. Gong's Hongfei said. Black Curse immediately said, but it's not far away. Finally, Gong's Hongfei also recognized Chen Luo's strength. He is indeed very strong. You must be strong. Look at what that big guy was beaten into. Black Curse laughed, with a hint of pride in his voice. Our boss just suffered a little superficial injury. That's just because his recovery speed is relatively fast. He was also seriously injured. He has recovered now. Gong's Hongfei said. Black Curse nodded slightly. I'm afraid I'll get hurt again later. Yes, you can't escape. Gong's Hongfei said. Chen Luo stared at the stone giant in front of him. At the same time, he was constantly restoring his own state, trying to get rid of his weak state as quickly as possible. The power of the crazy thunder flame slash is indeed very strong, but the side effects are a little bit too much. Fortunately, the stone giant had been beaten to half-dead state, otherwise he would be in great danger. Of course, Chen Luo wouldn't have done such a reckless thing if he didn't have a certain degree of confidence. The stone giant's body did not recover, but it gave Chen Luo a more dangerous feeling. Under Chen Luo's gaze, the stone giant's body exuded a faint yellow light. Gradually, the light condensed together, and finally turned into a golden ball of light that fell out of the stone giant's body. The moment the golden ball of light appeared, the energy in the entire valley seemed to become violent. Chen Luo could very clearly sense how terrifying the energy contained in the golden energy ball was. At the same time, he also sensed that the aura of the stone giant instantly weakened a lot, and it seemed to be an irreversible weakening. The stone giant seems to be burning its own life to create golden energy balls. Skills that cost lives are often extremely terrifying. Chen Luo subconsciously retreated, trying to distance himself from the stone giant as much as possible. But he suddenly realized that he couldn't retreat. There was an extremely powerful force that locked onto him and imprisoned him in place. What's going on with this horse? Chen Luo started to get anxious. Anyone who wasn't a fool could see that the stone giant was charging up his ultimate move. Why didn't he run away and wait for death? But what can you do if you realize it? You still can't change the ending. It seemed that from the moment the stone giant created the golden energy ball, everything was a foregone conclusion. No, when a faint golden light emanates from the stone giant, everything can no longer be changed. Chen Luo had already noticed something was wrong with the stone giant since then, and he also wanted to try to interrupt the stone giant's state. But the key point is that he himself is in a half-dead state, and rushing over would be even more dangerous. The stone giant's fists are no joke. Besides, after the stone giant is in that situation, its energy is extremely unstable. If Chen Luo does something else, he is afraid that the stone giant will self-destruct on the spot, and the first person to be killed was Chen Luo. Chen Luo struggled with all his strength to change the current situation, but in the end nothing could be changed. This feeling of powerlessness was really bad. Chen Luo could only wait silently for the stone giant's ultimate move to be released. Looking at the surrounding situation, Chen Luo suddenly found that a large number of things around him were in the same state as him, including the stone giant who cast the spell. Under the control of a powerful force, everything seemed to have stopped, except for Gong's Hongfei and Heiju at the edge of the battlefield. The dust created when he fought with the stone giant was still flying in the air, but now the dust stayed in the air extremely abruptly. These conditions did not last long, and soon everything changed. I saw a small piece of stone moving slightly, and then flying towards the golden energy ball in mid-air at an extremely fast speed. Following this, everything quickly moved closer to the golden energy ball. The first thing that moved was actually not the stone, but the dust in the air, and then the stone. All the stones trembled slightly, and then quickly flew towards the golden energy ball. Soon, all the rubble on the battlefield between Chen Luo and the stone giant flew towards the golden energy ball, and in an instant, it condensed into an extremely huge stone ball. After the gravel was gone, the ground began to crack, and a large piece of land flew into the air. The stone walls on both sides of the valley actually fell off, and everything was flying towards the golden energy ball. In mid-air, the huge stone ball continued to grow bigger after being replenished. When Chen Luo saw this scene, he felt more and more unhappy, and at the same time he felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Why do you feel like you've seen this skill before somewhere? Chen Luo quickly remembered, holy shit, the earth explodes from the sky. After a while, the stone ball condensed into an extremely huge existence, almost touching the stone walls on both sides of the valley. With the appearance of the stone balls, the light in the valley became darker and darker, giving it a feeling of blocking out the sky and the sun. The terrifying pressure created by the stone ball makes people feel suffocated. Even if the stone ball does not exude a terrifying energy aura, just its extremely huge appearance and the fact that it is suspended above people's heads gives people a sense of oppression, as if the sky is falling. The surrounding things returned to their original appearance, and nothing flew towards the stone ball anymore. Chen Luo finally resumed action at this time, but the next second he resumed action, his whole body was pulled by an extremely huge suction force and flew straight towards the stone ball in mid-air. At the same time, the stone giant's mutilated body gradually disintegrated, turning into pieces of rubble and rushing towards its final destiny. Gong's Hongfei and Heiju watched the scene happening in front of them silently. Heiju said in a deep voice, "It's time to take action. Don't worry, we have to believe him." Gong's Hongfei still looked calm. Black Curse looked a little worried. That thing is too weird, let alone the boss, it would be difficult for us to face it. He doesn't seem to need our action. Gong's Hongfei pointed forward. Chapter 193 Challenge the Limit. Chen Luo, who was flying quickly in mid-air, instantly burst out with an extremely powerful momentum. The black flames all over his body surged, and he held the death scythe, as if the god of death was coming. Chen Luo has not yet fully recovered from the weakness caused by releasing the crazy thunder explosive flame slash. The reason why he was able to enter the current state was because he was forced out of it. Human potential is unlimited, especially when faced with death. From the moment Chen Luo decided to fight the stone giant, he never thought about the way out, let alone asking Gong's Hongfei and the others to help. What he wants is to challenge his own limits. He has come this way before, and he can continue to do so now. In the days when there were no undead, Chen Luo continued to grow step by step on his own, and the powerful power he gained was obtained at the cost of his life. The emergence of the system gave him a good hand, and his efforts made this good hand even better. Constantly challenging yourself is very easy to say, but extremely difficult to do. Without strong willpower, most people will fail. In fact, what is more important is to have the courage to challenge yourself. Many people like to be content with the status quo and are unwilling to change, but Chen Luo does everything possible to continuously improve himself. Under the huge suction released by the stone ball, Chen Luo flew towards the stone ball at an extremely fast speed, leaving very little time for Chen Luo. Almost as soon as Chen Luo took to the air, his momentum changed, and his potential directly exploded, entering the best fighting state. While flying towards the stone ball, Chen Luo swung his death scythe with all his strength. As he swung the death scythe, extremely terrifying energy instantly condensed, and the black flames on the death scythe instantly became stronger. A hint of dark blue is faintly visible. Crazy thunder and flame slash. In such a short period of time, Chen Luo actually completed the charge of the crazy thunder explosive flame slash. With a low cry in his heart, Chen Luo swung the death scythe vigorously, and suddenly released a violent thunder and flame slash. A black flame moon blade carried extremely terrifying power and flew towards the stone giant, whose life was about to end. That's right, the target of the violent thunder and fire slash was not the stone ball directly in front of Chen Luo, but the stone giant whose body was disintegrating. The black flame moon blade instantly reached the stone giant's mutilated body, and the violent explosion that had occurred once before was staged again. Boom! Boom! First, the black flames exploded, creating countless fire snakes, releasing terrifying high temperatures and energy to devour everything around them. Then thunder and lightning raged and exploded, destroying everything to their heart's content. The shapeless stone giant with a mutilated body was directly annihilated after 2 explosions. Chen Luo's body finally stopped and fell from mid-air. After landing, Chen Luo gasped for air and his whole body was shaking. There is a price to pay for challenging the limit. In the short period of time Chen Luo gained great power. After using the power, he would be weak for a long time and suffer unimaginable pain. At this time, Chen Luo felt as if all the strength in his body had been drained. Severe pain was felt throughout his body, and blood overflowed on the surface of his skin. In the end, he couldn't help but spurt out a mouthful of blood. Fortunately, these are within Chen Luo's affordable range. Although the body has suffered huge damage, it can slowly recover and become stronger after recovery. The death technique was already running crazily, but it was obvious that Chen Luo's injuries were too serious and he would not be able to recover for a while. He had to continue to enjoy the pain from all over his body until his body's injuries were completely recovered. This is the best result of Chen Luo's extremely special and powerful body. If Chen Luo's body was a little worse, he would have died directly after using the crazy thunder explosive flame slash. After adjusting for a moment, Chen Luo gradually regained his mobility, but his body was still shaking slightly. The death scythe has disappeared, and the nearly dry soul power in his body can no longer support him in using his martial spirit. Raising his head and looking at the giant stone ball in midair, Chen Luo endured the severe pain in various parts of his body and stayed as far away from the giant stone ball as possible. Almost as soon as Chen Luo retreated, the stone ball burst apart and countless gravel and dust fell. Chen Luo accelerated his retreat, at the cost of double the pain. During this period, his body was unstable due to the severe pain. He fell to the ground, but he quickly got up again. It took a lot of effort for Chen Luo to reach a safe position. If he were in his prime, this distance would be reached in an instant. But now he is too weak, and the pain in every part of his body makes him almost numb. He is sure after he was safe, Chen Luo sat directly on the ground. Wow! The giant stone balls condensed very quickly and collapsed even faster. They all collapsed in just a few seconds. Countless gravel and dust blocked the path Chen Luo and the others came from. In the end, only a golden energy ball was left floating in the air, slowly dissipating. Suddenly, a bloody aura appeared around the golden energy ball, and then dozens of black magic circles appeared one after another, wrapping the golden energy ball together with a bloody aura. The golden energy ball did not dissipate anymore, and finally turned into a bead the size of a thumb, with faint bloodlines on it, and a little black could be seen on the bloodlines. Guang's Huangfei opened his hand, and the golden bead flew into his hand. Fortunately, you are here, otherwise I wouldn't be able to stop this thing from dissipating with my own strength. It would be a pity if it dissipated. Guang's Huangfei sighed. The black curse said, I can't do it with my own strength. During the conversation, Heiju and Gong's Hongfei came to Chen Luo's side. Chen Luo had already sat cross-legged and entered a state of cultivation. After seeing this, Black Curse immediately thoughtfully prepared a magic circle for Chen Luo to condense the energy of heaven and earth. A black magic circle appeared under Chen Luo. The formation of the magic circle was silent and would not affect Chen Luo's practice at all. After the magic circle was formed, the energy of the entire valley quickly moved closer, making Chen Luo's practice more effective with half the effort. I really didn't expect this battle to end like this. After setting up the magic circle for Chen Luo, Black Curse couldn't help but sigh. Guang's Huangfei said, "He has never let us down." As he spoke, Guang's Huangfei spread out his palm, and the golden beads lay quietly on it. After he finishes practicing, I will give it to him. It will be somewhat beneficial to him. Black Curse nodded, "That's necessary. Even if it can't be used, it can still swallow the energy in it. With a boss's special ability, it can be completely absorbed." Guang's Huangfei glanced at the golden bead in his hand, and then looked at Chen Luo. "I hope it can be used, so that he can have another powerful skill." Chapter 194 Teleportation Array. There is a price to pay for challenging the limit, but fortunately the price Chen Luo paid was within the range he could bear. The strength of his whole body was almost drained, and he suffered huge damage to various parts of his body. If he didn't have strong recovery power, he would be considered a useless person now. The death technique is running crazily, constantly devouring the energy between heaven and earth to supply the body. While repairing the body, it is also slowly restoring strength. In the process of recovering from practice, Chen Luo could clearly feel that something was wrong with the power of the world around him. It seemed to have become extremely strong. It must have been the Black Curse that used the magic circle to help. Chen Luo didn't think much about it. He also not so much to think about. Severe pain continued to be felt throughout the body, and even during the recovery process, it did not alleviate the pain at all. The recovery process was even more painful in some parts of the body. Under such circumstances, Chen Luo could only concentrate his mind and maintain the state of cultivation as much as possible. In the past, practicing was a very enjoyable thing for Chen Luo, but now it has become the most painful thing. But there is no other way but to persevere. The injury is too serious and you must seize the time to recover, otherwise it will cause an irreversible situation. Chen Luo kept practicing in this state. He didn't know how long it took before the severe pain in various parts of his body gradually weakened, and then he felt an unimaginable sense of comfort. This was probably the feeling of going from hell to heaven. Comfort was secondary. The most important thing was that Chen Luo found that his strength had been greatly improved, and his body had also been improved, becoming stronger. It's not like Chen Luo has never tried to use this method to improve himself before. He still remembers that when he was at Shrek Academy, he often fought with Xiao Wuji, almost always challenging his own limits, and the improvement he obtained was also relatively significant. It's just that compared to this time, the previous challenges to the limit were just trivial. This time he almost lost his life, but his life was saved, but he was almost crippled. Fortunately, he has strong recovery power. The recovery process is also particularly difficult, and it is not an exaggeration to describe it as nirvana and rebirth. Chen Luo persisted in the extremely painful training process before. Of course, Chen Luo would not miss this comfortable training process. He soon entered into immersive training, constantly improving his strength. After improving, Yu is also consolidating. A long period of time passed before Chen Luo ended his training. His soul power level now has reached level 58, which is 2 levels higher than before. While his soul power level increased, Chen Luo also further consolidated his strength. The level increase obtained by completing system tasks before always gave Chen Luo a feeling that his strength did not belong to him. After experiencing the battle with the stone giant, after that, he is now a real level 58 Soul King. Slowly opening his eyes, Guang's Huangfei and Heiju were standing in front of him. With these two powerful men, he felt very safe, which was why he could practice with complete confidence. Chen Luo stood up and moved his body briefly. All the bones in his body crackled. He looked at Gong's Hongfei and Heiju and asked with a smile, "How long have I been practicing?" The Black Curse said, 3 days. "Oh, really? That was much shorter than I thought. I thought a month or 2 had passed, or it would be like the time when the evil soul master treasured the treasure. It took half a year to practice." Chen Luo said with a smile. Black Curse said, Master, I feel that your improvement this time is greater than that training. Chen Luo nodded lightly, I think so too. Although the soul power level has only increased by 2 levels, you must know that these are the 2 levels of the Soul King. Many people will never reach the level of Soul King in their lifetime, and there are also many people who will only be stuck at a certain level of Soul King in their lifetime. Even if everything goes well, under normal cultivation conditions, it can take anywhere from several months to several years to advance to the next level. Chen Luo only upgraded 2 levels in a row through one battle. This was something he could control. He focused on consolidating his strength. If he only focused on improving his soul power level, he would get more improvements. In addition to the improvement in soul power level, Chen Luo's body has been greatly improved, and his physical strength has almost doubled. If he is allowed to fight the stone giant again, he can easily defeat the stone giant. The improvement in physical strength brings Chen Luo not only more powerful melee combat effectiveness, but also many improvements in his use of soul skills. For example, using the 5th soul skill Crazy Thunder Exploding Flame Slash, the body's endurance and recovery capabilities are directly doubled, which means that as long as he has enough soul power, he can release more Crazy Thunder Exploding Flame Slash in the same time. During the time I have been practicing, have there been any other changes here? Chen Luo asked. Guang's Huangfei said, I went deeper into the valley and took a look. I could see a stone tablet at regular intervals. The patterns on the stone tablets were different, and they appeared in different locations. Some were close to the stone wall, and some were on the stone tablet. In the middle of the road, some are directly on the stone walls. The stone tablets are indeed very strange. Except for the stone tablets here, the other stone tablets give me an inexplicable sense of familiarity. I always feel as if I have seen them somewhere. They seem to be somewhat similar to the magic circles I have mastered, but they are 2 completely different existences. Black Curse said. After saying that, Black Curse added, Guang's Huangfei and I will go there in turns. At least there will be one person who can stay by your side to protect you. Chen Luo nodded lightly, let's go and see those stone tablets. Coming to this place is for continuous exploration and harvest. The stone giant has been dealt with, so the natural next step is to move on. Okay. Guang's Huangfei and Heiju said in unison. The group of 3 people continued to move forward, walking in the valley. After advancing for a longer distance, they found a new stone tablet. The subsequent situation was consistent with what Gong Zhongfei He Curse and the others said. Every distance could see a stone monument until they reached the end of the valley. The end of the valley is connected by stone walls on both sides. There is no road ahead, only extremely smooth stone walls, and there is a stone monument under the stone walls. At this time, Chen Luo suddenly received a strong response from the Hell Demon Spider. He opened his big hands, black light flashed, and the Hell Demon Spider appeared in the valley. After the Hell Demon Spider appeared, Black Curse quickly said, Boss, these stone tablets seem to form a special teleportation circle. As he said that, Black Curse stretched out his hand and drew the general structure of the magic circle out of thin air. It happened to be the pattern after all the stone tablets were connected. It looked extremely complicated and mysterious. Black Curse Dao didn't know the situation of the magic circle before he drew it. After the magic circle was completed, he couldn't help but exclaimed, it's a teleportation magic circle. Before the sound of the Black Curse could be heard, the stone tablet in front suddenly burst into dazzling light. Chapter 195 Demon Insect Reappearance. With the first stone tablet blooming, the second and third ones followed. Even if they were far apart, Chen Luo and the others could still feel the changes in those stone tablets, because when each stone tablet bloomed, violent changes occurred, energy fluctuations. After seeing these strange scenes, Chen Luo frowned slightly, but Black Curse seemed extremely excited. Even if he was wearing a mask, his excitement could be heard in his voice. This is the top level. The teleportation array is countless times more powerful than the one invented by the evil soul master. As he spoke, Black Curse stared at the glowing stone tablet very seriously, as if he wanted to understand the mystery within it, but soon made a low voice, Alice, my ability is not enough. Chen Luo glanced at Black Curse and couldn't help but ask, these things shouldn't be what we need to pay attention to now, okay? You already said that this is the teleportation circle. Looking at this posture, the teleportation circle has been activated. It should be there soon. It will be activated, are we just going to wait? Black Curse smiled and said, Boss, aren't you here just to seek a good experience? This teleportation circle will teleport us to a better place later. Does a better place mean it's more dangerous, and we have to put ourselves to death to survive? Chen Luo thought to himself, and then looked at the glowing stone tablet like a black curse. It didn't matter whether he looked at it or not. When he saw it, his eyes suddenly widened, and an incredible look appeared on his face. Under the light, there are countless surging formations. They are constantly arranged and combined. Each combination is a wonderful match. Although Chen Luo cannot understand it, he feels that he has benefited a lot. A memory that had been buried in his mind for a long time quietly emerged, and a lot of information about the formation appeared in his mind, which made his head swell for a moment and felt like it was about to explode, but Chen Luo was gritting his teeth. He persisted, unwilling to give up this great opportunity. He is getting countless good things from that memory, and can even rely on those memories to slowly understand and absorb the formations on the stone tablets. Those extremely complicated processes do not require him to think too much about all the deductions. Everything seemed to fall into place, as if he already knew these things. I don't know how long this situation lasted, until the entire valley burst into intense light, and Chen Luo's learning was interrupted, and he had already gained a lot by this time. The light flickered and was particularly dazzling. Chen Luo, Guang's and He Ju all lost their vision for a while, and not only their vision, but also their perception. They seemed to have left this world, with only the simplest consciousness preserved, which made them panic subconsciously. This situation was no different from death, especially Hime and Gong's Honggang, who had already died once. Soon, they calmed down one by one. Vision is slowly recovering, and perception is also recovering quickly. They can feel that they are down to earth, and they can gradually see that they and others are in an unfamiliar environment. In front of them was a huge cave, surrounded by smooth stone walls. They were transported to a valley, and they were at the end of the valley. This location is exactly the same as the previous location in the boneyard, but the environment is completely different. There is nothing here, just smooth stone walls and flat ground, and the cave ahead. Looking back, it was still the same, and in the end I could only see darkness. The light here is also very dark, and things can only be seen vaguely, giving people a very depressing feeling. Chen Luo and the others simply took stock of the environment. Before they could make any next plans, they felt a dangerous aura in the cave. The hell demon spider rushed directly to the front of the team, instinctively protecting Chen Luo behind. Chen Luo summoned the Earth King smoothly. The Earth King carried his daughter-in-law Pink Queen on his back and immediately rushed to the front. These spirit beasts only had the most instinctive idea, which was to protect their master, even if the King of Earth has a certain amount of intelligence and basically acts according to instinct. Even the Hell Demon Spider and the King of Earth were ready to fight. Chen Luo immediately entered the fighting state, activated his martial spirit, and then immediately entered the immortal state. After Chen Luo's strength was improved, after activating his martial spirit, his aura became even more powerful. Although he only improved by 2 levels, his strength seemed to have been greatly improved. Guang's Huangfei and He Curse also entered a fighting state. Guang's Huangfei was holding a demon-slaying sword with 9 soul rings lingering around his body, while He Curse was holding a big sword and exuding a powerful black aura. After being prepared, Chen Luo and the others quietly waited for the presence in the cave to arrive. After a moment of calm, a strange noise finally came from the cave. Swish swish. A creepy sound gradually came from the cave, like countless insects crawling quickly. Why does this voice sound familiar? After Chen Luo heard the sound in the cave, his first reaction was not fear and panic, but surprise. Soon, a flash of realization flashed across his face. Demon insect. Yes, it is the devil insect. I had encountered demonic insects before in the bone burial ground. It was the same sound when the demonic insects appeared, but the demonic insects at that time appeared from the ground. Countless demonic insects surged out of the cave like a tide. The Hell Demon Spider and the Earth King immediately stepped forward to carry out crazy killings. Even the Pink Queen on the Earth King's back was also outputting, although there was not much difference between the Pink Queen's output and not. The strength of the Hell Demon Spider and the Earth King are far superior to those of the demonic insects, but they cannot compete with the countless numbers of demonic insects. In the end, the 2 bosses at the rear have to take action. Guang's Huangfei raised his hand and released a demon-slaying sword. Holding a special handprint, the 3rd soul ring on his body suddenly lit up. The demon-slaying sword instantly flew toward the demonic insects at an extremely fast speed, and then exploded. He released an extremely powerful bloody aura and strangled all the demonic insects. Black Curse was not idle either. He first summoned 2 hell creatures, the low-level hell creature skeleton soldier and the high-level hell creature hell demon lizard, and asked them to join the battlefield. The strength of the skeleton soldiers is limited, but they also have countless numbers. As soon as the summoning circle of the Black Curse is formed, countless skeleton soldiers appear continuously and rush towards the demonic insects crazily. There is only one hell demon lizard, but it is powerful because it can move freely among those demonic insects and easily harvest the lives of those demonic insects. After the summoning circle was established, the Black Curse began to be output, waving the sword, and powerful black moon blades shot out, blasting the demonic insects to pieces. With so much power, Chen Luo became the most idle one. He also wanted to step forward to fight, but his undead were not allowed to do so. There were too many demonic insects in front, and they were full of too many uncertainties. Even Black Curse and Gong's Hongfei were unwilling to let Chen Luo take risks. In the end, Chen Luo could only grasp the peripheral demonic insects for output, and was unable to go to the frontline battlefield. During the battle, Gong's Hongfei suddenly threw a golden bead to Chen Luo. "I forgot to give you this thing. You can try to see if it can be used," Gong's Hongfei said. Chen Luo held the golden bead in his hand and suddenly felt a special feeling. He then showed a look of surprise on his face and threw the golden bead out. He shouted in a deep voice, "Earth Explosion Star." Chapter 196 Only children make choices. The moment Chen Luo touched the golden bead, he immediately felt an extremely familiar feeling, as if the golden bead belonged to him. At the same time, an extremely mysterious and complex magic circle appeared in Chen Luo's mind. He didn't even need to understand it, he could use it directly. As a result, there was a scene where Chen Luo got the golden beads and threw them away immediately. The moment Chen Luo threw the golden bead, in addition to shouting out the extremely ridiculous Earth Exploding Star, Chen Luo also kept moving his hands, holding special handprints, which instantly resonated with a golden bead. An extremely mysterious and special magic circle appeared under Chen Luo, and at the same time, the same magic circle appeared around the golden beads. Under the blessing of the magic circle, the golden beads suddenly burst into dazzling light, then stayed in midair and began to erupt with endless suction. The magic circle at Chen Luo's feet had spread out in an instant, covering everything in an instant. The demonic insects that kept rushing out of the cave directly entered the magic circle. Except for the Hell Demon Spider and the Earth King, all the demon insects on the magic circle stopped in place as if they were petrified. Guang's Hongfei and Heiju are the exceptions. They are not under Chen Luo's control at all. Attracted by the golden beads, some sand flew directly towards the golden beads, followed by stones, and then large pieces of land. This scene was similar to the previous scene where the stone giant used the golden beads, but it looked more powerful. Slightly weaker, but more stable. Soon the golden beads were wrapped in various things and became larger and larger. There was nothing left around to attract them, so the demonic insects became the best target. The demonic insects were sucked up and sank directly into the big ball composed of sand, soil and rocks. As the demonic insects joined in, the huge ball became larger and larger, and the suction force became stronger and stronger, sucking up all the demonic insects outside in an instant. Afterwards, all the demonic insects that rushed out of the cave were spared, until the last demonic insect sank into the ball, forming an extremely huge ball that covered the sky and the sun. After the demonic insects were gone, the big ball once again attracted the surrounding earth and rocks. A large area of land was peeled off and filled entirely on top of the big ball, quickly wrapping all the demonic insects. Under Chen Luo's control, the huge sphere kept flying upwards. After a while, a huge magic circle appeared on top of the stone ball. The stone ball sank directly into the magic circle and disappeared. Calm returned to the valley. If the originally flat land had not become uneven, it would be as if nothing had happened here, not even a corpse of a demonic insect was left. "Is it over?" Guang's Huangfei asked, as if he was expecting something. Chen Luo nodded lightly. "It's over." Guang's Huangfei was a little disappointed. "I thought there would be a huge explosion. Where's that golden bead?" "Just use it like that?" Guang's Huangfei asked. Chen Luo opened his hand, and the golden beads quietly appeared. It is not a disposable item. The color of the golden beads in Chen Luo's hand became much darker, but it was slowly recovering. Why didn't it explode but disappear? Guang's Huangfei seemed to have a special liking for explosions. Black Curse said at this time, If it explodes, I'm afraid we will all be buried in the valley. The explosion of such huge things will cause a huge impact. Even if the stone walls on both sides of the valley look extremely strong, I can't bear that kind of torture. I understand the truth, but I feel a little regretful that I didn't see that thing explode. Guang's Huangfei smiled lightly. As a peak Douluo, Guang's Huangfei's grasp of the battlefield is of course top-notch. He knows everything in his heart, he just can't help but say it out loud. Guang's Huangfei asked, Chen Luo, what's the name of the soul skill you just performed? I think I heard you say it was called Earth Explosion Sky Star. It's a pretty good name, and its power is not bad, but it lacks some meaning. Black Curse smiled and asked, there was no explosion, right? Yes. Guang's Huangfei nodded. Chen Luo also laughed, and the three of them looked at each other and smiled. After the simple joke, the three of them got down to business. It was still Guang's Huangfei who started, but now the expression on Guang's Huangfei's face changed back to the previous indifference. Did you learn the magic circle you used from the stone tablet? Chen Luo nodded, yes. The black curse on the side suddenly showed an extremely envious look. That thing is really made for the boss, and we will never be able to understand it in our lifetime. Is it the teleportation circle that swallowed up the giant sphere in the end? Guang's Huangfei then asked. Chen Luo nodded again, it's a teleportation circle. You teleported it to another location and blew it up. Guang's Huangfei asked another question that seemed crucial but was actually nonsense. This time Chen Luo shook his head, no, I just sealed it. Seal? Where is the seal? I don't know the specific location, but I'm sure it's definitely not a space in this world. Guang's Huangfei glanced at Chen Luo and didn't ask any more questions. Black Curse has been staring at Chen Luo with extremely envious eyes. When Chen Luo displayed a powerful magic circle, Black Curse became excited. Boss, it's a pity that you don't use your talent to study magic circles. I may not be able to replicate the magic circle you just used. I'm just lucky. Luck is also a kind of strength. While talking, Chen Luo and the others did not stop. The Hell Demon Spider and the King of Earth opened the way, and Chen Luo and the others slowly walked into the cave. The valley is very big, and the cave is also very big. Even with the size of the Hell Demon Spider and the Earth King, it doesn't feel crowded at all when walking in it. You can imagine how big the cave is. Compared with the light in the valley, the inside of the cave is darker and gives people a very humid feeling. The darkness inside does not affect Chen Luo's progress. Those who enter are not simple beings. Whether it is the two soul beasts opening the way in front or the three people behind, they all have the ability to move forward in the dark night. Period. Guang's Huangfei seemed to hate the feeling of darkness. With a wave of his hand, blood-colored breath burst out, instantly bringing blood-colored light to the cave. Everything in the cave was covered with blood, and Chen Luo and the others could see many strange patterns on the smooth stone walls of the cave. At first glance, those patterns look like array patterns, but if you look a little closer, those patterns seem to be composed of countless monsters, each of which is more ferocious than the last. The further you go into the cave, the more and more complex the patterns on the stone walls become, making it dazzling. If you look at it carefully, you will have a shocking feeling, because the monsters that make up those patterns are each stranger and more sinister than the last. I don't know how long they walked until the patterns on the stone wall were so dense that they were difficult to see. Chen Luo and the others came to 3 passages. Those 3 passages lead to completely different directions. The one ahead is straight ahead, and there are 2 options, left and right. Black Curse looked at Chen Luo and asked, which one should we choose? Chen Luo pondered for a moment, and then said, children only make choices, we want them all. Start from the front passage first. After clearing the level, explore the left and right sides. I like to do this kind of multiple choice questions the most. If you choose them all, one of them will always be right. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197: The Combat Power of the Hell Demon Spider. Guang's Huangfei and the others certainly had no objections to Chen Luo's arrangement. The Hell Demon Spider and the King of Earth continued to open the way forward, with Chen Luo walking in the middle, Guang's Huangfei and He Curse walking behind. As Chen Luo said, go to the middle passage first. The passage was much smaller than the cave. The Hell Spider and the Earth King were a little crowded as they moved forward. Chen Luo simply took the Earth King back into the necromantic space. The manpower was completely sufficient. Even taking back the Hell Spider together would be a problem. Not big, with Gong's Hongfei and Heiju here, all dangerous problems can be easily solved. As he moved forward, Chen Luo reviewed his mission. Part of the reason why he came to the Bone Burial Ground was that he received the special mission, Bone Burial Ground. Now he has been in the Bone Burial Ground for more than 3 days. For some reason, the mission completion prompt has not yet sounded. He asked the system. There was no movement at all. There's no way they haven't entered the boneyard yet, right? There must be some other reason. The passage was darker than the cave. Even if Gong's Hongfei used blood-colored aura lighting, he could only get a weak light and could barely see some things clearly. In addition to the visual obstruction, Chen Luo and the other's sensing power was also weakened. The strongest Gong's Hongfei could only sense a distance of 50 meters in front of him. After that, it was as if he had touched an invisible barrier and could not sense any more thing. This is not good news for Chen Luo and the others, but it also makes Chen Luo even more excited. The more wrong it is, the more dangerous it is, and the more dangerous it is, the more good things there are inside. From the time he entered the Bone Burial Ground to now, Chen Luo has gained a lot of benefits. The soul power level has been increased by 2 levels, and the physical strength has been greatly improved. In addition, he also harvested special golden beads that allowed him to use the Earth Explosion Star. Chen Luo also didn't know the specific structure of the golden bead. In Chen Luo's view, it was an excellent magical weapon for using the Earth Explosion Star. In addition, the golden beads also contain a lot of energy, which Chen Luo can absorb and use. But compared to this, it is better to use the golden beads as a magic weapon for the Earth Explosion Star. Today, Chen Luo is not short of that energy. Unless it's a critical moment, he will not use the energy in the golden beads. The energy in the golden beads determines the power of the Earth Explosion Star. After using the Earth Explosion Star, a certain amount of energy will be consumed, but it can be recovered quickly. If the energy is directly absorbed, it will take a lot of time to recover. It really doesn't matter necessary. The stone walls in the passage are also very smooth, just like the stone walls in the cave, but there are no special patterns on them. After advancing for a while, the Hell Spider in front suddenly stopped, and Gong's Hongfei's voice sounded, "Something is approaching us, and it seems that there are quite a few." Chen Luo frowned slightly. Could it be another demonic insect? Is it really impossible to kill them all? It's not a demon insect. Gong's Hongfei affirmed. Coming. At this time, Chen Luo also sensed the existence of those things, and after a while he saw them directly. They were a group of extremely ugly monsters. I saw a group of table-sized monsters, each with 3 huge heads. Their sharp fangs shone with cold light, making them look very ferocious. Those 3 heads alone took up almost 1/3 of their bodies. The table-sized body is covered with hedgehog-like burrs, with 4 ox-like hooves on one left and right, and a long pigtail behind it, which looks extremely weird. Upon seeing these monsters, Chen Luo and Gong's Hongfei both turned their heads and glanced at Black Curse. Black Curse immediately said, "The mutated devil insect is a medium hell creature." Chen Luo couldn't help but ask, "Why have I never seen you summon these things?" The same goes for the demonic insects before. Black Curse said, "Although I have the ability to summon hell creatures, the types of hell creatures that can be summoned are limited. Currently I can only summon some skeleton monsters and hell demon lizards. I may be able to unlock new types of hell creatures in the future, or it may be that I can only summon those hell creatures." During the conversation, everyone was ready to fight. The Hell Spider at the front still bears the brunt. After it evolves, it seems that it doesn't know what it means to be afraid. No matter how powerful the enemy in front is, no matter how terrifying the number of enemies, the Hell Spider will still rush forward without hesitation. Any existence that threatens Chen Luo's life will be wiped out by the Hell Demon Spider. After experiencing the Valley of Death, the Hell Demon Spider's strength has reached a 6-year-old level, and its combat power is even close to that of a 7-year-old or even an 8-year-old soul beast. The mutated demonic insects in front of them are only about 5 years old, and they are simply not enough to see in front of the Hell Demon Spider. The Hell Spider's sharp spider spear was raised high, and when it suddenly fell, the seemingly indestructible defenses of the mutant insect seemed to be non-existent, and were easily broken by the Hell Spider. After penetrating the mutated demonic insect, a terrifying toxin is injected, killing the mutated demonic insect instantly. The fighting power of the hell demon spider is very fierce. Just using the simplest spider spear attack, the mutated demon insects killed are unable to fight back. During this period, Chen Luo also saw the hell demon spider release its skills once, and the scene was very exciting. Although the hell demon spider is powerful, it is one enemy against many. After killing a batch of mutant demon insects, a new batch of mutant demon insects will soon follow. There will be a time when the hell demon spider cannot kill them. Those mutated demon spiders will the demonic insect seized the opportunity and quickly surrounded the hell demonic spider, launching an attack frantically. It has to be said that the physical strength of the hell demon spider is really terrifying. The fangs of those mutated demon insects bit the hell demon spider, leaving only some traces but failing to cause substantial damage to the hell demon spider. Judging from the attack progress made by the mutated demonic insects on the hell demonic spider, even if the hell demonic spider stood there motionless, they would still have to bite for a long time before they could break through the defense. The surrounded hell demon spider looked very irritable, and it was at this time that it released its skills. The bloody aura on his body burst out, and all the spider spears sank into the ground. Then countless bloody spikes suddenly burst out from the ground, piercing all the mutated demonic insects and killing them instantly. After that, the hell demon spider killed several more batches of mutant demon insects, and the passage returned to calm. Only the chewing and swallowing sounds of the hell demon spider could be heard. It was doing its final cleaning of the battlefield without wasting the corpses of those mutant demon insects. Swallow them all to enhance your own strength. During the whole process, Chen Luo, Guang's and Heiju didn't take any action, silently watching the hell demon spider's performance. They were all surprised by the fighting power of the hell demon spider. Just now, the hell demon spider could not even show its full strength. Guang's said, "Is it also an undead spirit that evolved using the death badge?" "Yes." Black Curse nodded lightly. Guang's stared at the hell demon spider for a long time, and then his eyes fell on Chen Luo. "If there are any death badges in the future, remember to leave one for me." Chen Luo asked, "Does the senior strength still need the death badge?" Guang's raised his lips slightly, who had refused to become stronger. "My current strength has reached my final limit. The method of Giant Tang can only be used once. Only through other special methods can I achieve another breakthrough." Chen Luo smiled and nodded, "Okay." Chapter 198 Back to the desert again. After experiencing the mutated demonic insects, Chen Luo and the others did not encounter other weird monsters, but soon they saw extremely complex patterns on the stone wall. This time the patterns don't look like they are made up of various monsters, but rather like special environments. Some look like mountains, some look like running water, and there are valleys. What it looks like depends mainly on what people are thinking. When Chen Luo saw a pattern similar to a valley, he immediately thought of the Valley of Death and the burial ground. The more he looked at it, the more similar it became, as if those two places were depicted on it. But if you calm down and look again, you will find that the patterns look nothing like anything, just some complicated lines intertwined together. After walking inside for who knows how long, Chen Luo and the others encountered nothing. Just when Chen Luo decided to go back and explore other passages, suddenly a dazzling white light bloomed in front of them, and then the white light spread towards here. Chen Luo and the others subconsciously retreated, but the white light spread too fast and engulfed all of them in an instant. Even the powerful Gong's Hongfei and Black Curse could not escape. The white light flashed and disappeared instantly. Chen Luo and the others quickly regained their vision, only to find that they were no longer in the passage, but had returned to the desert. An extremely real feeling of heat came from the sand. The temperature in the desert was so high that it seemed to distort the air, forming waves of heat. Chen Luo and the others were a little surprised, and soon Black Curse said, "We should have entered an illusion." "An illusion again?" Chen Luo frowned slightly. Black Curse nodded slightly, "Probably." Chen Luo asked, "I used 2 shoulds in succession, are you not sure?" "Yes." Black Curse looked around and then said, "I can feel something is wrong. We have either entered an illusion or been transported to the desert. In my opinion, the former is more likely. If it is teleported, I will feel the energy fluctuations of the formation, but I didn't feel it just now." "Okay." Chen Luo nodded lightly. Guang's Hongfei said at this time, "What should we do now?" Black Curse said, "If it is an illusion, we must quickly find a breakthrough and leave the illusion. Otherwise, it will not be a problem to be trapped in this illusion all the time, and we will encounter unpredictable dangers. If it was teleported, we can go back to the valley and continue exploring. As he spoke, Black Curse pointed forward, and the outline of the valley could be vaguely seen in the distance. Everything was so real, as if they had really returned to the original desert. Give me some time and I'll see if I can break this illusion. If not, then we'll try to go back to the valley. No matter which outcome it is, it may not be a good thing. If you are in an illusion, the level of this illusion is too high. I think I have certain insights and strength in this aspect, but I am not sure that I can penetrate the illusion. The danger factor here is simply immeasurable. It can happen at any time. Danger may occur. If we were teleported here, it would be a headache. If we returned to the cave and experienced everything we had experienced before, even if we chose other passages, the result would still be the same. Wouldn't it mean that we would be trapped forever? I am trapped in this endless cycle and cannot leave here. Black Curse said in a deep voice, and then he began to close his eyes and feel the environment here. A black magic circle quietly appeared under his feet, which played a certain assisting role. When Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei saw this, they silently guarded Hakers. The hell demon spider stood quietly on the sand, with all the spider spears submerged in the sand. It seemed to be sensing something and seemed very alert. In other aspects, Chen Luo and Guang Zhongfei can still work hard with Black Curse, but in terms of illusion, they can only place all their hopes on Black Curse. Chen Luo looked around. The scene around him gave people the feeling of copying and pasting, making him unable to find his direction. Fortunately, there was an outline of the valley in front of him, allowing him to find the way forward. Otherwise, it would be very easy to get lost in this desert. Period. Before coming here, Chen Luo wanted to get as many benefits as possible from here. In fact, he also got some things he wanted. But now, Chen Luo suddenly realized a problem that he had always ignored, that is, how to leave here. It's easy to get in, but hard to get out. To enter, you only need to enter the abyss, and then enter this strange world through those strange doors. Going out? Just mind-boggling. There is no door in the desert, and the same is true in the valley in the distance. They explored the entire valley, and were finally teleported to another valley and entered a cave to explore. In the end, they faced 3 passages. They had already explored the middle passage, but they ended up returning directly to the desert. They didn't know whether it was an illusion or a teleportation. Maybe the hope of getting out lies in those 3 passages, but if you want to grasp that hope, the first thing you have to do is get rid of the problem in front of you. Whether it's an illusion or teleportation, you have to face it. This bone burial place has far exceeded Chen Luo's expectations. In Chen Luo's original imagination, they would enter a valley full of soul beast corpses, and then he would use awakening to kill the soul beasts that had the potential to become undead. Resurrection, take it for your own use, and get some other benefits besides that. By the way, complete your own special tasks. As a result, once he entered the boneyard, everything was completely different from what he had imagined. Various doors, strange worlds behind the doors, and those ferocious hellish creatures. None of these seemed to have anything to do with soul beasts. Chen Luo even wondered if he had been tricked by the system. He felt that what he had entered was not a burial ground at all, but the road to hell. Even so, Chen Luo is still very interested in this place, especially when hell creatures such as demon insects and mutated demon insects appear. The creatures from hell are somehow related to his martial soul, the death god. Maybe through these clues, we can find the secrets about his martial soul, the death god. Maybe his martial spirit is really a god. No matter what, as long as you can get some benefits from this place. The next thing to do is to get some more benefits and find a way to leave here. The reminder that the task has been completed has not come. It is impossible to stay here forever. It is still not sure whether this place is the real burial place land. When Chen Luo was letting his thoughts go, the hell demon spider, which had been on alert, suddenly let out a ferocious roar, as if it had sensed something. Chapter 199 The Sword Breaks the World. Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei immediately noticed the strange phenomenon of the hell demon spider, and immediately looked in the direction the hell demon spider was facing. They saw a line of black shadow appearing on the horizon, rolling in like a flood, kicking up dust all over the sky. Period. The speed of the black shadow was very fast, and soon it revealed its ferocious face. Chen Luo and Gong Zhongfei took a closer look and saw that the black shadow was an extremely dense mass of mutated demonic insects, with no end visible at a glance. The hell spider immediately entered a fighting state, and even wanted to rush towards the countless mutant insects ahead. Fortunately, Chen Luo sensed the hell spider's thoughts in advance, and immediately gave the hell spider an order to keep it on standby. Although the hell demon spider is strong, it is no match for the countless mutated demon insects. If it rushes forward recklessly, it will only die in the end. It is not a pity to die for a mutated demon insect, but there is only one hell demon spider. Chen Luo looked at Gong's Hongfei next to him, and without Chen Luo opening his mouth, Guang's Hongfei had already entered a fighting state. Holding the demon-slaying sword, Guang's Hongfei stepped forward step by step. A terrifying bloody aura suddenly rose from his body, with a hint of paleness lingering among the bloody aura. This was the realm of the god of death. Chen Luo could very clearly sense the biting coldness of the suicide god realm, which made him subconsciously activate the suicide god realm, and then he felt relieved. It is quite ironic to say that since Chen Luo obtained the killing god domain from the killing capital, he has rarely used it. Every time he used it, it was used for trivial things. Every time Gong's Hongfei took a step forward, his momentum became stronger. 9 soul rings lingered around Gong's Hongfei's body, releasing terrifying pressure. I saw Gong's Hongfei's 7th soul ring suddenly light up. Gong's Hongfei threw the demon-slaying sword in his hand into the air, and the demon-slaying sword suddenly transformed into an incomparably huge size. Under Gong's Hongfei's control, the huge demon-slaying sword was instantly wrapped in a bloody aura. Then Guang's Hongfei's 9th soul ring suddenly lit up, and then he heard Gong's Hongfei shout in a deep voice, "The sword breaks the world." Guang's Hongfei lowered his body slightly, held his hands forward, and a bloody longsword appeared in his hands, and then swung it suddenly. The giant demon-slaying sword in the sky also swung simultaneously. On top of the giant demon-slaying sword, there was a huge bloody sword shadow hundreds of meters high, which swung down at the same time. The blood-colored aura suddenly erupted and turned into an extremely huge sword blade that swept forward, carrying the power of destroying the world and destroying the world. Everything seemed incomparably small in front of the blade. In just an instant, everything in front of Gong's Hongfei was completely annihilated. The tide of mutated demonic insects dissipated without even having time to scream, along with the yellow sand on the ground. An extremely huge ravine appeared in the desert, with some bloody aura attached to it, still creating a terrifying energy storm. Chen Luo stood there blankly, deeply shocked by the strength displayed by Gong's Hongfei. Is this the fighting power of a peak Douluo? Looking at the art created by Gong's Hongfei, Chen Luo swallowed and couldn't help but sigh. This is too powerful. Chen Luo has always been very confident in his own strength, so confident that even if he cannot defeat a title Douluo level expert, he can easily escape with all his abilities. What can even a peak Douluo level expert do? If he can't beat him, he can still outrun him. Now it seems that he was so naive before. He was so insignificant in front of the peak Douluo, as insignificant as an ant. It's all solved. It's been a long time since I used that trick, and I feel a little rusty. Guang's Hongfei returned to Chen Luo's side, and the demon-slaying sword had appeared in his hand again. A faint smile appeared on his face full of scars, and his eyes showed a little excitement. It's good to be an undead. I feel like I can't use up my soul power. I used to have to rest for 3 days after using it once. Soul skills can now be used 3 times a day. Some ordinary soul skills can even be used without restrictions. I feel more and more that my original choice was extremely wise. At the same time, I am looking forward to what you will look like when you grow up. How terrifying will you be when you grow up to be able to give us such powerful power? Chen Luo originally wanted to express his feelings about Gong's Hongfei's terrifying strength, but he never thought that Gong's Hongfei would actually say these words when he came back, which made him feel a little at a loss for a while, and a smile appeared on his face. Awkward yet impolite. As the Black Curse said, this is indeed an illusion. Whether we can leave the illusion mainly depends on him. I don't know what his condition is now. Guang's Hongfei's eyes crossed Chen Luo and landed on Heiju. Chen Luo heard this and asked curiously, "Senior, how did you determine that this is an illusion?" Although Gong's Hongfei was extremely powerful in combat, he was not good at illusions. Guang's Hongfei was able to determine something that even the Black Curse could not determine. Guang's Hongfei said calmly, "Those mutated demonic insects I just killed were phantoms. I can feel that they are definitely not real. Even this desert is fake. I'm even confident that I can use my sword to break through the world again to directly break through this illusion. but considering that using too much force may have an impact on the real world we live in. Before we came here, we were in a passage. If we forcefully break the illusion, it is very likely that the passage will be destroyed. Then that blow you just made. No, this illusion is still very special. As long as the critical point of the illusion is not reached, nothing we do will have any impact on the real world. Chen Luo nodded slightly, and then looked at Himeo. Guangzhongfei said, you can try to use this special connection between you and us to see the current situation of the Blackers. It is good. Not to mention Guangzhongfei, Chen Luo even forgot about his ability. He could directly see the memories of the undead, not only their past memories, but also their current memories, synchronized almost in real time. As long as the undead is by his side. Chen Luo acted immediately, closed his eyes slightly, and used the special connection between himself and the Black Curse as a channel to enter the memory picture of the Blackers. After opening his eyes, the environment in front of Chen Luo had changed. He came to a world of white. There were dense formations under his feet, and a Black Curse was ahead. Black Curse holds a special handprint, and his body exudes a faint light. The light gradually transitions to the magic circle and is quickly transmitted through the magic circle. Chen Luo looked into the distance and found nothing but white everything. From the scenes in front of him, he had no way of knowing the current progress of the Blackers. He could only see that the Black Curse was progressing smoothly and was working hard to break the illusion. There's no point staying here, it's better to wait outside for news. Chen Luo closed his eyes slightly, and when he opened them again, he had left the memory of the Black Curse and returned to the desert. Guangzhongfei immediately cast a questioning look at Chen Luo. Chen Luo shook his head slightly. I can't tell the specific progress. He is working hard. After waiting for a moment, the Black Curse was finally broken, and he immediately made an extremely excited voice. Found it, finally found it. Chapter 209 Tailed Demon Fox. Chen Luo and Guangzhongfei both looked confused when they saw Heiju's extremely excited look. Even the Hell Demon Spider was affected by the Black Curse and glanced this way. Black Curse tried hard to calm down his emotions, but it was obvious that he couldn't hold it back for a while, and then said excitedly, I caught it, it's a demon fox, and it's a nine-tailed demon fox. No wonder the illusion we are in is like this. Reality, as long as we grasp it, this illusion will collapse on its own. Devil fox? Nine-tailed demon fox. As soon as Chen Luo heard the name, he roughly guessed that this special creature came from hell again. Sure enough, Black Curse immediately introduced, the nine-tailed demon fox, like the demon insects and mutant demon insects, are all creatures from hell, but the level of the nine-tailed demon fox is much higher, even higher than what I can summon. The devil lizard, a creature from hell, is even more advanced. The demon fox is already a high-level hell creature, and the nine-tailed demon fox is a top-level hell creature. They are extremely good at illusions and can trap their targets in illusions. The illusions they create can be described as impeccable. The nine-tailed demon fox we met should be just an incomplete spirit body. If its body is in, we simply can't escape from here. Chen Luo immediately asked, where's it now? Black Curse immediately pointed forward, it's in the valley over there. Guangzhongfei immediately activated his martial soul true form and controlled the enlarged demon-slaying sword to come in front of everyone. Chen Luo took the hell spider back to the dead space, and then stepped on Guangzhongfei's demon-slaying sword together with Black Curse. They are all action people, and they don't want to talk useless words when they can take direct action. Under the control of Guangzhongfei, the demon-slaying sword swept towards the valley at an extremely fast speed, leaving a bloody shadow in midair. As soon as Black Curse stepped onto the demon-slaying sword, he immediately prepared the formation and reminded Chen Luo and Guangzhongfei, be prepared to fight at any time. The nine-tailed demon fox should also find that his position is exposed at this time. Action will definitely be taken against us, even if the things it uses are false. Those false things can still cause real harm to us. Later we will definitely encounter hell creatures transformed from phantoms. Regardless of whether they are phantoms or not, we must all count them down. Behead. Hearing this, Chen Luo frowned slightly. How did you know that we just encountered hell creatures? Black Curse immediately said, although I am concentrating on finding the location of the hell demon fox, I can still sense the changes outside. Guangzhongfei used such a powerful move, how could I not sense it? Okay. Chen Luo nodded lightly. Am I thinking too much? Chen Luo thought to himself, and then immediately used the special connection between him and Black Curse to check the current situation of Black Curse. Soon, Chen Luo once again entered the memory screen of the Black Curse. The strange thing is that Black Curse is still in that white world. The white world is full of black formations. Black Curse is constantly looking for a breakthrough in the illusion. Chen Luo suddenly felt a chill running down his back and immediately chose to exit the memory screen of the Black Curse. But at this moment, a powerful force directly imprisoned Chen Luo in place. If I hadn't sensed that something was very wrong with you, I probably wouldn't have taken action. A very charming and cold female voice suddenly sounded, with a slight smile. You really did not disappoint me. If I let you continue to drag me on, my illusion will really be broken by you. Chen Luo asked calmly, are you a nine-tailed demon fox? Chen Luo did not receive a positive response, only a sneer, which was equivalent to acquiescence. You actually don't need to introduce yourself in such detail, otherwise I wouldn't be aware of the problem and just stupidly enter the killing array you arranged. Chen Luo. The nine-tailed demon fox smiled and said, truth is both true and false. If it were all false, would you believe it? That's true. Chen Luo nodded slightly, and then asked, what are you going to do next? The nine-tailed demon fox said calmly, you have already guessed what I am thinking, why do you still ask questions now, Ingli? Chen Luo said, I just want to make sure again. Kill you all. The nine-tailed demon fox said coldly. Chen Luo nodded slightly, then what's my situation now? I've been killed by you? So has he. You still have to control my body later, right? Why are you talking so much nonsense? The nine-tailed demon fox scolded. Chen Luo smiled and said, you are almost dead, you have to be a sensible person, right? The nine-tailed demon fox sneered again and said no more to Chen Luo. Afterwards, Chen Luo stopped hearing the voice of the nine-tailed demon fox. After confirming that the nine-tailed demon fox had left, Chen Luo easily broke through the restriction imposed on him by the nine-tailed demon fox, and then went straight towards the Black Curse. It's time to wake up. Your body is occupied by someone else. Chen Luo came to Hey Curse and said in a deep voice, then stretched out his hands, and a huge black magic circle quietly emerged. Chen Luo pushed it forward, and the black magic circle fell directly on Hey Curse. Black Curse suddenly shuddered and opened his eyes suddenly. The moment Hey Curse opened his eyes, an awe-inspiring murderous aura erupted from Hey Curse, but when he saw that the person standing in front of him was Chen Luo, he instantly restrained himself. Boss, I made you laugh. He cursed. The spirit body of the nine-tailed demon fox has quietly left a Black Curse, and she has a better choice, it is Chen Luo. Through some special method, the nine-tailed demon fox directly entered Chen Luo's body. Chen Luo's consciousness has been imprisoned in Black Curse's body, and the control of this body now falls in the hands of the nine-tailed demon fox. But is this really the case? When the nine-tailed demon fox came into Chen Luo's body, he found that it was dark. The biting coldness hit the nine-tailed demon fox from all directions, giving the nine-tailed demon fox a kind of coldness from the soul, followed by fear and panic. The nine-tailed demon fox didn't hesitate and immediately wanted to leave Chen Luo's body, but she was horrified to find that she couldn't do it. It was very easy for her to enter here, so easy that she thought everything was under her control. Only then did she realize with hindsight that the reason why she came here so easily was entirely due to the other party. The door was deliberately left open. A figure quietly emerged, and some light began to appear in the extremely dark world. Chen Luo stood quietly in front of the nine-tailed demon fox, looking at the nine-tailed demon fox with a faint smile. Are you so confident? Do you really think you can take over my body? Last time, a guy who called himself the evil god came here. What do you think his final outcome will be? Oh, I ate it directly. The nine-tailed demon fox was a halo-like existence at this time, and its body could not be seen clearly. After seeing Chen Luo, especially after hearing what Chen Luo said, the halo formed by the nine-tailed demon fox could not stop. He trembled and then fled away desperately. Doors appeared out of thin air, and the nine-tailed demon fox wanted to escape through those doors. As a result, as soon as the door appeared, it was immediately crushed by an extremely huge ice hand. In the end, no door appeared again. The nine-tailed demon fox stood there blankly, and Chen Luo's figure appeared in front of her again. Keep your wits about you. I don't have the patience to continue playing with you. You will be the one I catch next time. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like, Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.